What's up, everybody? Welcome to a special edition Sports Talk Tuesday. It's game one of the NBA Finals 2021 matchup against the Phoenix Suns, led by Chris Paul and Devin Booker, and the Milwaukee Bucks, led by the Greek freak Giannis and Chris Middleton. I'm going to break down the game and also give you my thoughts on the Maria Taylor Rachel Nichols situation, as well as a couple of trade rumors. And we could even talk about Tyson Fury fighting at 300 pounds, LeBron James upset with the announcer at his son's basketball game, and many other things. Also, for those who's going to watch live with me, I'm going to also put up the score so that people can see the score live as we watch, and you won't have to miss out on what's happening during the game while you watch here. So let me go ahead and pull that up when it gets started. Right now, the game hasn't started yet, and I'm going to go ahead and make my prediction before the game start. Phoenix will take game one tonight. Now, as far as the series, it depends on how healthy the Greek freak is. But I'm going to go ahead and say Phoenix and 7. Phoenix and 7. I want Chris Paul to get a ring. The chances of him making it back to the finals again is slim to none. He in his 16th year. Rarely when you're in year 16 are you still the best player on your team. Even though he's not the top scorer on the team, he is still the best player, because without him, Devin Booker and Aiden wouldn't be here. They were barely making it into the playoffs without Chris Paul, let alone the finals. So we'll see how that goes. And also, I was talking with somebody and they were saying Chris Paul not a Hall of Fame point guard. Actually, Chris Paul's a Hall of Fame point guard without even making it to the finals. The finals puts Chris Paul in his rightful place. You know what Chris Paul's rightful place is among point guards? He's third. He's the third greatest point guard to ever play in the NBA. Yeah, I said it. Break it down. You could put anybody against him and we'll show you why he's the third greatest. Number one is Magic. Number two is Isaiah Thomas. And number three is Chris Paul. Magic, that was dominant for a decade, led his team to 5 championships. Not only was he the second best player on most of those championships, it became a point where he was the best player on the team when Kareem was older. Isaiah Thomas led Detroit to 3 straight finals appearances. They probably would have won 3 had he not injured his ankle. And on one leg in that ankle game, almost defeated the Lakers, and they almost won. Okay, but then he came back and they won back-to-back championships with the Pistons, and he had to go through Boston and the Bulls and a lot of places in the East, as well as the Lakers and Portland when they were in their peak powers to win those championships. So Isaiah Thomas doesn't get as much props as he should. Third is Chris Paul. Every team Chris Paul has been on, he has been the best player on the team. He's never had another superstar player that was really as good as him. Blake Griffin was the best player he ever had, and Blake Griffin was not, as we see, what was advertised. He was an overhyped dunker. He could never show up when they needed. He never had that dog in him. He never was a complete player. He wasn't a Karl Malone like John Stockton had. I know people are saying maybe John Stockton. John Stockton was never the best player on his team. He always had Karl Malone, and they never won a championship, even though they did make it to 2 finals appearances. They had great teams. John Stockton, I would put probably 4th But Chris Paul is a better player than John Stockton. If you all matched him up one-on-one, Chris Paul would bust John Stockton's head. Come on. Chris Paul averaged more points. He never averaged as much assists because he had to do more with less. Had he played with a Karl Malone his whole career, Chris Paul would have averaged just as much assists. Anyway, John Stockton is the 4th best point guard in my opinion. So Chris Paul's the 3rd best point guard in NBA history. Once he gets this championship, that will be solidified. All right, let me get to some of these comments. Shaq Duncan, ESPN lost all your respect at this point. BS Network. I stopped watching ESPN for a while. To be honest with you, like all this Maria Taylor, Rachel Nichols stuff, none of these people are giving such great takes. It's only 3.5 people. 3.5. And I say half because this person does it half the time, give interesting takes worth watching about basketball. They not on ESPN, half of them. You got Charles Barkley, Shaq, and Shaq only does great when he bouncing off of Charles Barkley. When Shaq by himself, give me a ball, Kobe. Kobe, give me a ball. I tried to put it in the door, put it. So Kobe did be watching Chuck. Chuck, give me a ball, Kobe. I mean, he mumble mouth. It ain't all that. But when Shaq and Barkley is working together and they on the roll, that's some funny TV. That's some good takes. The 3rd is Stephen A. Smith. Even though sometimes this is blasphemous and this is outrageous. How could you have the audacity and audaciousness to have this blasphemous idea? And the half of the time is Max Kellerman, who has good, interesting takes, but he's not as entertaining. See, Shaq and Barkley are entertaining and have good takes because they played, and I love when Shaq start giving Barkley hell for not winning the ring. You ain't win a ring, Chuck. Chuck, you ain't won a ring, so you don't know Chuck. But other than that, who is saying something that's so funny or must-see TV? Nobody. No men or women. So it's not really that interesting. What's up, Shaq? You say Rachel Nichols was 100% correct in everything that she said, and they're going to just drop her like that. I agree with you 100%. I said this on my first thoughts about this, Sunday, that she was right. And everybody tried to make it seem like it was race. For one, ESPN should give them both a job. Why do they have to fight for the same job? Why do they have to fight for the same job? Why they couldn't alternate days in games? It's 4 games they're going to play for a fact. Let them each get 2. Why they have to, why could there only be 1? And if I was her, I would have felt the same way. Why you got to take away my job? Because your record sucks in being diverse. Why can there only be 1? Same thing what they do with black comedians. It can only be 1 famous at a time. You take the Bucks tonight. Bucks take series in 7. The only reason I don't say the Bucks in 7 is because I don't know Giannis' health yet. I could easily see that. I saw Giannis in the pregame. He was running around looking pretty good. So I don't know. Let's see. Look like they finally got the tip-off going. Post this up so people can see what's going on as we play, as we had a show tonight. So yeah, you can see what's happening. You can see the score, and you can see me. Anyway, Steph gonna pass him if he hasn't already, Jay. You right. Okay, I forgot all about Steph Curry. That's a correction. But you know why I forgot about Steph Curry, to be honest? Because he's more of a two guard that plays the point, like Iverson. You know what I mean? So if you really want to break it down, Iverson really wasn't a point guard either. But if you want to put him in the point guard classification, I guess. See, I'm thinking of a real traditional point guards. But then if you want to break it down, Iverson, Steph Curry, you can put in like a lot of other, players that was scoring point guards maybe. But you're right. If you classify Steph as a point guard, then Steph could be easily number 2 over Isaiah, because Isaiah never won back-to-back MVPs. He didn't go to 5 straight finals, although Steph Curry was never named NBA Finals MVP one time, which is really messed up, ain't it? He never got to be named Finals MVP. That was supposed to be his. They gave it to Iguodala. That they shouldn't have gave it to Iguodala that year. And then Kevin Durant came, and he didn't get it. So Steph Curry over it, because he probably wouldn't have won those other 2 had Kevin Durant came with them. They couldn't beat LeBron when he was at full strength, as we saw. Now, a lot of stuff did happen with Draymond Green getting thrown out the game and other stuff. But that being said, that's part of the sport, right? You never know what may happen. What's up, Don't Trip, girl? Shaq, what's good? What's good? Larry Jones, whoever think Chris Paul not a first ballot Hall of Famer is insane. I had a discussion with somebody a couple of shows ago, and they said that he's not, and I had to break it down. I think that was with Big L, Lawrence. And because it's also the Basketball Hall of Fame, which people forget. It's not the NBA Hall of Fame. It's the Basketball Hall of Fame, which includes your college, and Olympics. And so with Olympics, that puts him as a first ballot Hall of Famer. But not only that, he put up 16 solid, really solid years in the NBA. Facts. You know how I go to Basketball Reference. I can pull it up. And he's a little man. Exactly. He the only player that's 6 foot with his playing style that led every team he was on to the playoffs. He put the Spurs out in the playoffs early in his career and was a game away for the finals with Houston. Yeah. And remember when he was with the Hornets and how he gave the Lakers a hard time? And imagine if the NBA didn't block his trade to the Lakers for Kobe. The Lakers ended up getting Gasol instead. But if it would have been Chris Paul dishing to Kobe, oh man, who knows how that might have turned out. But Chris Paul he's actually damn near the last real traditional point guard in the NBA. He plays point guard the way I grew up learning how to play point guard. Not that I was a Chris Paul or nothing, but that's how you play point guard. Yeah, you can score or whatever, but you get your teammates involved. Steph Curry really doesn't get his teammates involved other than because he can shoot so far, it opens up the D. I mean, it opens up the offense. But Draymond Green is really a point for that team. You know, only player better than CP3 at his height is Ivo. That's true. And Ivo really was a shooting guard. He was really a Jordan, disguised in a little man's body. You take Jordan and put him in a little man body. That's what Iverson was. 160 pounds, 6 foot tall. That's what Iverson was. But he really was never a point guard, which is why he had a hard time at the end of his career when his powers was gone. He didn't know how to play the game as a point guard. He only knew how to play the game as a shooting guard. And once his powers of, freakish athleticism was gone and he could no longer score like he used to, he didn't want to come off the bench. He didn't want to distribute and make other players better. He'd rather retire than do that. D Weave was good. Chris Paul is not an Isaiah Thomas stratosphere, Chi-Town finest. I said he's behind Isaiah, but Chris Paul is in Isaiah's stratosphere. You wrong. Isaiah did have Dumars. Dumars was a beast. Joe Dumars was a beast, okay? A lot of people forget about how good Joe Dumars was, man. Joe Dumars was an all-star player on offense and defense, gave Jordan a hell of a time. He also had Lambeer, Rick Mahorn, Mark Aguirre. Mark Aguirre was the #1 draft pick. Him and Isaiah knew each other since high school. Mark Aguirre was averaging 20 points a game or better his whole career till he came to Detroit. It was towards the end of his career. They traded him for Adrian Dantley, who Adrian Dantley was a hell of a scorer too. Yeah, Giannis playing tonight. You say Bucks gonna get that dub today? Okay, that's what's up. My girl Sheena, what's up, Sheena? How you doing? Hope you're having a good birthday month. Wink, wink. Yeah, man. So Chris Paul, man, he's something else, man. Yeah, Lauren said that, right. Big facts, Jay. We count college, high school, and all. Yeah, that's true. And they actually do count and consider high school when you putting in the fact like Kevin Garnett or Kobe Bryant, who came straight from high school to the NBA and then dominate. They don't have a collegiate record. Also, like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar at Power Memorial, they dominated in high school. I think they didn't even lose a game or something. Then he went to college and didn't lose but one game, I think. Like Kareem, man, is probably the winningest player in the history of the NBA. Bill Russell won a lot too, of course, but the competition level wasn't the same. But you can't take that against him. Yeah, Draymond is the point forward, and he runs the team. So that's why I forget about Steph Curry like that, because he is really just a two guard in the point guard position, because he ain't really tall enough and doesn't have the athleticism to guard Devin Booker. See, Chris Paul has defense too, man. Chris Paul dirty sometimes, and like they say, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying, right? Steph Curry is a liability on defense. Everybody knows that. They will go at Steph Curry on defense. Steph Curry is not a complete player. He's had better seasons than Chris Paul, but he has never really been a better player than Chris Paul, truth be told. Or like old school people say, quiet as kept. He ain't been better than Chris Paul. And that's facts. Chris Paul never had a good team like Steph Curry. He never had a Klay Thompson. See, really, if you're a traditional point guard, you need that guard forward that can score. You need a Dumars. You need a Worthy. You need a Devin Booker. If you don't have that, then you can't. If all you got is a big man could get shut down in today's basketball. Back in the day, a big man could take you the whole way, like Oscar Robertson and Kareem. But the game is different now, so you can't just have only a big man. That actually changed in the 80s, because at first Magic and Kareem was more than enough. But as the game was changing, you needed a Worthy. You needed a Byron Scott. Isaiah on every level. Isaiah won on every level and toned his game down to 18-9. That's true. Isaiah is a beast, though. I didn't say Chris Paul was better than Isaiah. You got me wrong. I said he would be behind Isaiah. His career should have been longer, but he couldn't take coming off the bench. Yeah, Iverson couldn't take it because Iverson was not geared to really play the game of basketball. He was geared to dominate athletically. Some players know how to dominate. They're athletes. Some players are athletes and some players are basketball players. For example, an athlete is David Robinson. He was fast, strong, could jump, run, tall, everything. He was very athletic, but he wasn't the most sound, fundamentally basketball player. So once he had injuries and he was no longer the dominant athlete he once was, his game declined very sharply. Whereas Tim Duncan was never really the greatest athletic player. He was just a big, fundamentally sound player. So he had a more consistent career. Even as he got older into his later years, he was still very productive, putting up 15 and damn near 9 rebounds in his 18th year, because he never had his game built around athleticism. He was always a fundamentally sound basketball player. He was never an athletic player. Michael Jordan, supreme athlete, but he became also a sound basketball player. So when he was 39, 40 years old, he was still able to average 20 points a game because he knew all the ins and outs of being a great basketball player. You know, dudes in the hall for middle school. Big Don, what's good? What's good? We live. I'm checking in on Facebook, man. Appreciate you. So yeah, Giannis is looking good so far. I'm not a big Chris Paul fan, but I always give props and credit where credit is due. I don't never let my personal preferences, and I'm not saying that's what you're doing, but I'm saying I always give people credit. Like, I'm not a big LeBron James fan, but I had to give credit where credit is due. He's a hell of a player. I don't know if Curry is better than Chris Paul. He's a better shooter than Chris Paul, but Chris Paul's an excellent shooter too. He just doesn't take the shots and he doesn't play the style that Steph Curry plays. We saw Chris Paul drop off 41 points in the game the other night on the Clippers. Chris Paul can do it. When his grandfather died, he dropped, 60 points in the game? Yeah, Giannis looking good. I saw that in the warm-ups. He was running like ain't nothing happened to him. So we'll see. So, Chris Paul could do a lot more, but that's not his game. And a lot of young people don't know how to play point guard no more. And I know this from playing on 2K basketball. Now, I know that's a video game and it's 2K and these people don't know shit. But I swear to everybody with the damn ball as point guard, they only see the 3-point line. They don't look in the paint. They come down when it's 24-second shot clock. Before it's 5 seconds is off the clock, they jacking up threes. Don't even give people a chance. I normally play a center. I used to play point guard, but they don't know how to play. So I got tired of everybody begging for the ball all the time. And everybody think they can score and shoot threes and stuff. And they be mad when I don't give them the ball when all they do is stand at the 3-point line. Because of Steph Curry, everybody shoots threes like it's no tomorrow in the NBA. It's a big shift. Yeah, Chris a great point guard, but comparing him to Isaiah, I don't think so. Nobody compared him to Isaiah. Y'all got to listen, man. I said he would be behind Isaiah. But Chris Paul is a comparison to Isaiah. You need to go to basketballreference.com. Look at their stats. It is very comparable. Very comparable. He never had a good enough team as Isaiah has had. That's the only difference. But you need to stop making it seem as if I'm comparing Greg Anthony to Isaiah Thomas. Like, no. Robinson was dominant. The forker you talking about. Robinson was dominant. You don't listen. You know what? Y'all don't listen. I broke down the difference of being an athletic player versus a fundamentally sound player. I said David Robinson was an athlete. He dominated as he was at the peak of his athletic powers. But after his injury, he was no longer able to do what he once did, not just because he didn't recover from the injury, but because he wasn't as athletic. He dominated because he was normally stronger, faster, quicker than everybody else. But once he was no longer stronger, faster, quicker than everybody else, he couldn't produce the same. Tim Duncan, on the other hand, was never an athletically dominant player. He was a fundamentally dominant player. He never was the fastest or jumped the highest or jumping over people, dunking and all of this. He had the they called him the big fundamental for a reason, which is why his career was steady even as he was into his later years in his career, because he never needed athleticism to do his job. Like Kevin Garnett. Kevin Garnett was a very athletic player, but as his athleticism went away, he still was productive, but nowhere near what he once was in Minnesota in his first year or two in Boston, because he can no longer run faster, jump higher, and do all the things he once was able to do against his competition. So that was the point. Y'all need to listen, man. Y'all ain't hearing Jimmy. You can't hear Jimmy. You listening, but you don't hear him. That's from White Men Can't Jump. David Robinson was my favorite big man in the NBA during his time playing. But he could no longer do what he did. Like Patrick Ewing. Patrick Ewing was a fundamental player as well. You know, he wasn't necessarily as athletic as David Robinson, but he was more consistent because his game wasn't built on that. Patrick Ewing was one of the first big centers shooting jumpers and fadeaways. I mean, I watched a lot of Patrick Ewing games because the Bulls, my team, battled the Knicks a lot in the playoffs and in the regular season. And Patrick Ewing used to get the Bulls a hell of a time, man. It wasn't because he was so fast. Donald Welliver, exactly. Bo Jackson. But he had a major injury. But because he once no longer had that athletic ability, he couldn't do what he did. You make a lot of excuses for Chris Paul. That Clippers team was on the super stack. Blake Griffin. DeAndre Jordan never even made an all-star team. DeAndre Jordan can't even shoot. Jamal Crawford was old. Eric Bledsoe was a rookie. Eric Bledsoe wasn't nothing. Eric Bledsoe was nothing with the Clippers. What are you talking about? He didn't even average 10 points. I think people forget, you know, statistics and stuff. You know, that's what I'm here for, though. I guess I'm going to have to, since it's a commercial break, I'm going to go ahead and show you what Eric Bledsoe did. Since you all think he was so great. Blake Griffin couldn't shoot back then. People think Blake Griffin could shoot his whole career. No, he couldn't. So, you see this right here? This is Eric Bledsoe's stats. With the Clippers, he averaged 6 points, 3.3 points. This dude averaged 3 points a game his second year. What the hell are you talking about? And then he averaged 8 points. He averaged 6, 3, and 8. You talking about that was a stacked team? Really? Eric Bledsoe left the next year, went from 8 to 17. The Clippers should have kept Eric Bledsoe. Okay? We can go back to these years right here. Clippers. Let's look at these teams. The year that Eric Bledsoe, first year with the Clippers, they won 32 games. 32 games, bro. 32 and 50. Chris Paul, was he there? I don't think so. Yeah, this is when they had Eric Gordon, Blake Griffin, and Baron Davis was on his way out. So then the next season, they won 40 games, 40-26 with Del Negro. Was Chris Paul there? Chris Paul first year there. They won 40 games. You said that the team was stacked. Blake Griffin averaged 20 points. Chris Paul, 19.8. You got Chauncey Billups, 15 points, but he was only there for 20 games. He was only there for 20 games. Mo Williams, 13 points. Caron Butler, 12, 11. This is a 40-win team, 40 wins. Like they almost a 500 basketball club. This ain't a stacked team. And was a bum still. DeAndre Jordan, he averaged 7 points and 8 rebounds. He didn't even do nothing yet. He didn't become good until Chris Paul elevated his game. Chris Paul elevated DeAndre Jordan's game. This dude averaged 7 points and 8 rebounds his first year with Chris Paul. If we look at the year before, DeAndre Jordan averaged like 3-4 points. Look, 4 points, 4 points, 7 points. That's when Chris Paul came. Well, the next year he averaged 7 and 7. Chris Paul came, he got to 7 and 8 rebounds. Then he got to 8 and 8. It took DeAndre Jordan 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 until his 6th year. It took him 6 years to get double digits in points and rebounds, and he never averaged more than 12 points a game. He averaged 15 rebounds one year. He did it twice. I mean, he couldn't shoot. He couldn't do nothing. He never took a three. Look at his three-point percentage. This is blank. Call him blank man. He couldn't shoot. He could only crowd the paint. Him and Blake Griffin both crowd the paint. So it was no operating room when it came down to the playoffs. The teams were not as good as people think. They think that they were so great because the Clippers have been so bad, and now they were making the playoffs. So people thought the teams were stacked. They were not stacked teams. They were not. Chris Paul made the team so much better. This team, they won 56 games. They had Del Negro. I think this was his last year coaching, and they fired him after that for what you call it. Didn't do much better. This year, you could look. Blake Griffin didn't even average 20 points. He went down, and he played 80 games. He made 18 points a game and 8 rebounds. Nobody averaged 10 rebounds on this team that year. Chris Paul, 16.9 and 9.7 assists. Jamal Crawford off the bench, and he was 32 years old. 16.5 points. Caron Butler, 10 points at 32 years old. Matt Barnes at 32 years old, 10 points. They never had a stacked team. The Clippers never had a stacked team ever. Never. And Blake Griffin and DeAndre Jordan never fit well because DeAndre Jordan could not do anything to space the floor. He only could stand in the paint. Blake Griffin didn't know how to shoot, so he needed to be in the paint, which then left them not working well together. So I think y'all forget basketball history. Like, I'm a basketball aficionado, okay? I know my ball, I know my hoops. And then also I like statistics. So I look this stuff up for fun. Like, I like this stuff, to look this stuff up for fun. And so I know a lot of this stuff because that's just what I do. But yeah, they weren't that good. Yeah, that was dirty when he punched people in the nuts, but he was frustrated. Yeah, that's true. He didn't punch and kick people in the nuts, and that's dirty. I agree. Facts, reading the field and knowing all positions come a long way. For real, for real. Mike was fundamentally sound coming in the league because he went to North Carolina. That is true. He was a more well-prepared player, which is why he came in the league averaging 26, almost 27 points a game. Curry is a better player, man. I'm sorry. Yeah, you sorry. You don't know what you're talking about, but it's okay. Steph Curry don't even know how to pass the ball, man. Curry's a better shooter. Because you're a better shooter does not mean you're a better player. Steph Curry wouldn't have led the Suns to the finals this year if he was on there instead of Chris Paul. He would have been shooting the ball more than everybody else on the team. Steph Curry don't know how to pass the ball, man. I'm just being real. I can bring up Steph Curry's stats. So, yeah, I agree. Do y'all think the point guard mean get the points? No. That's not what it means. D-Weave, dirty ball sacks. Hey, that's Chris Paul, dirty ball sacks. Hey, it's all good, man. I ain't mad. I get passionate when I speak, but please believe I ain't gonna never get mad at nobody over no damn basketball, especially shit. But I'm not playing. I'm not on the team. You know, and I know people, I deal with a lot of people that don't hear stuff I say and say one thing when I know I said another all the time. So I'm used to it. It happens in real life too. So you say Ronda Robinson was fundamentally sound too. What he did was share the spotlight with Duncan after the injury. Duncan never had a big time injury to see how he could recover from that. That's true. He never had a big time injury, but Robinson didn't have a big time injury like an Achilles or a knee blowout. You know, David Robinson, I watched David Robinson play. That's my era of my prime viewing years, the 90s. So 90s basketball, that's my era. Late 80s, 90s, early 2000s, that was my prime basketball years. And David Robinson was a freak of nature athletically. Just because I say that somebody that was their main thing, I'm not saying they weren't fundamentally sound, but that wasn't the key to their game. The key to their game was supreme athleticism. KG was hurt in the finals and was never the same again. That's true. He could no longer move like he once did, and he didn't play like a Tim Duncan, so he could no longer do what he once did. That's true. Big men, it is harder for big men to recover from injuries in a way, but their game allows them to still be more productive. So if you're a smaller player and you have an injury, then you can't stop, start, and cut the same, and your career could be over with easier. It's like a Penny Hardaway. Whereas a big man, because you big, you can still hang around the league and be productive, grab some rebounds, block some shots, clog the lane, score in the paint. You can still do a lot of other things and still be productive and relevant. Lob City Clippers had two things going against them. One was ego. Two was the rise of Golden State. I think what was really going against them is they never had a shooter. They never had a scoring shooter. That's what always hurt them in the playoffs. They never had anybody that could score other than Chris Paul as far as shooting. That's why they had to use Crawford so much. That's why they tried to bring in Redick. That's why they always tried to bring in some type of small forward. They never had a steady small forward two guard on that team. Had they have been able to keep Eric Gordon, they would have won the championship, I think, because then that would have made it a lot better spacing for them. If they would have been able to keep Eric Gordon, Blake Griffin, DeAndre Jordan, Chris Paul, and Crawford, they could have probably won, because Eric Gordon was a beast. He did not want to go to New Orleans. He played hurt, didn't want to play, and he got happier when he got into Houston, but he a different player now. So, you know, Jamal Crawford was old, man. At the time he was with the Sixers, that was like his 13th year in the NBA. What are you talking about, man? Detroit Kings, I don't know, man. You starting to make me think you don't really know. You need to go to Basketball Reference before you type some of this stuff and look it up. Straight up. Jamal Crawford played with the Bulls in what, 2000? We talking about what year was that with the Clippers? 2012, 2013? It was like his 13th year in the league. He was almost as old as Chris Paul. That's like saying because Chris Paul can score 15, 16 points, 18 points a game, he ain't old. Yeah, he is. In basketball years, Blake Griffin was not always a sharpshooter that came out of the blue. Yeah, because his athleticism was gone. That's a whole nother point. That was another player whose game was only built off of athleticism. He had really no fundamentals, just like Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons' game is built off of supreme athleticism, being fast, strong, jump, this, that, and the other. But he has no fundamentals, and when his athleticism is not allowing him to do anything, he has no game. Ben Simmons is a very extreme case, though. Very extreme, because he really has no game or fundamentals. I never want to hear the words stacked and Eric Bledsoe in the same sentence. Thank you, Bucky. Thank you. The Bucks had to get rid of Eric Bledsoe for Drew Holiday. Phoenix Suns got rid of Eric Bledsoe. Eric Bledsoe is another two guard trapped in a point guard's body. Eric Bledsoe is a great serviceable player. I'm not trying to hate on anybody that can score 17 or 20 points a game. But at the end, like, it didn't come when it counted. He would have been a great sixth man. If Eric Bledsoe ego didn't get in the way, he would have been an excellent sixth man. Come off the bench like Benny the Microwave Johnson, drop some buckets. Like, what you call it? Who's the Williams, what's his name? Lou Williams. Lou Williams is a perfect sixth man because he can come off against the second team, get those buckets, and help keep the score close while the game is going. Yeah, CP3 is elevating Ayton's game. He's making him into a premier center. That's what you do as a real point guard. You make your big men and your guards better players. You get them in positions to score. And that was a nice little lay-in right there. Like, you make your players better. Doc Rivers, please never call that man Doc ever again. Call him Ock Rivers because he don't know how to teach D. They was up 3-1 against Houston, still lost. I guess it wasn't Chris Paul's fault. Well, I mean, it is a total team, right? And who was up against, you talking about the Clippers? I mean, wasn't Chris Paul or somebody, Blake Griffin, somebody was injured that year, but they came back and played. But at the same time, Chris Paul, he can only do so much. He's a point guard and he's 6 foot tall. He's not an Iverson or Steph Curry style point guard. So if you're trying to get your other teammates going and they coming up shorter than mini-me, they can't shoot, they can't score, and you all got figured out by the other team, then your coach can't come up with nothing. They can't do nothing. We got Super Dario. He got injured. Dario Saric is walking off the court. That's going to hurt because he stretches the floor pretty good for Phoenix. And Philly should have kept Drew Holiday, and they should have kept Dario Saric. That's two players that are key players in the finals that Philly should have kept, that they gave up on trying to trust the process. And we see what that process then got them. Is CP3 the last real point guard? Bucky, I'm with you, man. CP3 is probably the last real point guard in the NBA. I agree, man. Curry is an undersized. He is. He really is. Dame Lillard, too. Russell Westbrook too. All of these guys are two guards. They really are. Man, you ain't about to smoke nothing but some ham. What the hell are you talking about? Smoke me in it. I put up the link for people to come up all the time. You ain't never came up. Why you don't come up? Everybody here knows that I post a link all the time for people to come up and talk live. Every show I do. You've been watching for a while. Bring that ass. Come on, D-Town. D-Town, stand up. Detroit basketball. You're more than welcome to come through. I get being frustrated, but hitting people below the belt, that's dirty. And he lucky he ain't got hit in the eye for that one. I would have hit him in his eye if I was one of them as a natural reaction. Because once you hit me there, it's like, doo-doo. Steph Curry would have lost to Houston in the playoffs if CP3 didn't get hurt. He was killing Steph. They go at it, though. Yeah, CP3 normally gets the best of Steph Curry in individual matchups. But Steph Curry got the better team. So, you know, and so it allows him to have more freedom. Olajuwon was probably the best center overall of his era. Not no probably, he was. Olajuwon swept Shaq. He bust Ewing's head. He beat David Robinson in the Western Conference. Olajuwon was a beast, and he the only big man center that won championships during that era, albeit without Jordan. But, you know, that's what happened. Yeah, they tried to bring in old-ass Paul Pierce, and it wasn't happening. Matt Barnes wasn't it. They tried to have a 3-and-D. Exactly. Bucky, you with me. Gordon was his pit bull. Yeah. Yeah. Eric Gordon was salty, too, when he got traded from the Clippers. Because Eric Gordon and Blake, they were starting to win with the Clippers. He was old but won 6th Man of the Year. What does 6th Man of the Year mean? Everybody wins 6th Man of the Year when they old. Lou Williams is old, winning 6th Man of the Year. What the hell is so funny? What you don't understand? I see you don't know basketball, man. Normally, you become 6th man when you're old and you no longer can compete against starting units. Did you know Jamal Crawford was a starter the first half of his career, and when he got old, he became 6th man? LOL. Why you think he was 6th man? Because he was no longer good enough to be a starter. What are you talking about? Straight up. Detroit Kings, I know why you ain't never clicked on the link to talk about basketball. You don't know what you ain't ready for this. Ben Simmons is a skilled passer, but really he's a passer because he can't shoot. You don't have any choice. He can't score himself unless it's a dunk. Trust the process, my butt. I know, right? Hey, you know I do, man. Hey, I used to be a smoker for over 20 years. I ain't got no problem falling back into old habits and roll you up like a blunt. Jay, could the Sixers use a Kyle Lowry to get over the hump? Hell yeah. But they're going to have to get rid of Ben Simmons. It's part of the problem what happened with, if they would have kept Jimmy Butler. If they would have kept Jimmy Butler, they may have got over the hump. But behind the scenes, Ben Simmons complained that Jimmy Butler was the main ball distributor in the fourth quarters. And Ben Simmons wanted that. But Ben Simmons can't distribute properly, and he's no longer a threat because people know you're not going to shoot, so they can slack off on D and double team your other teammates, which then makes it harder for you to be a solid option, a solid distributor. We don't have to take you serious because we know you ain't going to shoot a 3. You can't shoot a 2. Hell, you can't even shoot the breeze on a cool day. So what are you going to do? And you ain't going to dunk it because if we foul you, you can't shoot free throws. So you garbage on offense. Sixers need a real PG. Simmons is power forward hogging up the paint from Embiid. Exactly. Yep. And it's making it harder for Embiid to operate. You got Embiid taking more threes and shooting more than Simmons. Straight up. So, you know what I'm saying? He clogging up the paint. He ain't ready. You know what I'm saying? And he's a horrible fit. He needs to work on his game. Michael Jordan, I got an article where he predicted that these players are getting paid too much money before they accomplish anything, which disincentivizes them to work on their game. If you already got a guaranteed $150 million, what you need to do? You set for life, no matter what. You don't have to work hard to earn nothing. Now everybody don't give a damn about being a champion. You know, a lot of people don't care about legacy. Like Kwame Brown, he got his mama cooking, and he made $60 million, so he good. Whereas I would have took that personal. I'm the #1 draft pick. I'm gonna make an all-star team. I'm gonna be in the finals. I'm gonna be significant. I'm the #1 overall player. I can't have $60 million and I can't look myself in the mirror, or everybody walk around calling me a buster. You a buster? No, I'm going to work my ass off. I got pride in my job. People don't have pride in their work, period. I don't give a damn if you're making a damn egg McMuffin. Make it right. Yeah. Toby Harris is overrated, which is why the Clippers got rid of him. But they should have. That's been the problem with the Clippers and Chris Paul the whole time. They never had a scorer, a wing. You need a wing scorer to win in the NBA. You need that 2 or 3. You just have to have that. That's the only recipe for success damn near in the NBA nowadays. Jimmy left because of Brett Brown trash ass too. Probably. I mean, he buying into Ben Simmons and his crybaby bull. I would leave too, especially when you know you better than them. Just like Jimmy didn't like Karl Anthony Towns and Wiggins crying ass. Too many of these young boys cry too much and ain't did nothing. Don't work hard. Jimmy Butler, an old school player. He's an old school player. He worked hard for his contract. Jimmy Butler earned his money first. He didn't come in as a high draft pick and everybody kissing his ass, giving him $100 million. He worked his ass off to get that $100 million. Hard. So to see all these players with all this supreme athleticism and they walking around not doing nothing with it is frustrating. I would be like Jimmy Butler too. Dude, you could run like a fucking cheetah. You could jump over a tall building in a single bound. What are you doing? Work on your game. Yeah, and B definitely got to make up for him. These dudes don't play hard unless they're in contract year. That's facts. That is so true. That is so true, man. That's when they start to play hard. Booker is really going to win a ring before he make an all-star team. Yeah, that's messed up. Devin Booker then got cheated out of all-star teams. I think he made all-star though already one time, but he should have been a perennial all-star. But because of the competition at that position, that's really what's happening. Same reason why, Dame Lillard didn't make a few all-stars. So Devin Booker made all-star the last 2 years. He's been an all-star his last 2 years in the NBA, even though he's been averaging 24 points a game or better for the last 4 years and 22 points every year except for his rookie year. 22 points or better every year. But because he's in the Western Conference with so many guards and forwards, it's hard for him to get in there. He would have never got in over Kawhi and Paul George and Westbrook and Harden LeBron and all this, just so many players. Damian Lillard, Chris Paul. I don't like that new all-star format of guard or at front court and then back court players. I don't like that. Make it point guards. Make it centers. Make it forwards. So, yeah, these college players about to start getting them checks. Yeah, but the checks ain't going to be as much as NBA players' checks. So they're going to still want to make it and get them NBA money. If I know anything about Daryl Morey, he going to get a piece next to Embiid. He gave Harden CP3, then Westbrook. Yeah, Harden just don't know how to play with another guard. That's the problem. Hey, real talk, why the slight hate on Steph? Shooter, he's the GOAT. But don't say he can't pass. Steph Curry is number 3 all-time PG. First off, I ain't never hate on Steph Curry. I said he's a shooting guard and a point guard body. He ain't the number 3 all-time point guard, but they probably would give it to him because he plays point guard. But truth be told, he's not the real point guard on the team. Draymond Green is. I mean, he averaged 5 assists, 6.9 and 8 and 7. So 3 years, well, only 2 years in his entire career. Only 2 years did he average over 7 assists, 8.5 and 7. Only twice. As a point guard, did he average more than 7 assists? 7 assists in a game. Okay. And his best year was 8.5 assists. Then he went back to 6.7, 6.66, 5, 6.6. And this year he was down to 5.8. Now he's dropped 30 points a game twice. So as a point guard, he don't pass the ball really as much. He's a scorer. This is what shooting guard stats look like. 22, 24, 23.8, 30, 25, 26, 27, 30. That's what shooting guard stats look like. If we was to go to Chris Paul, this dude has led the league in assists 4 times. He's led the league in assists 4 times. He's averaged 20 points a game twice. He also has steals because he plays defense. Steph Curry doesn't play defense, and Steph Curry is a liability on defense. Chris Paul has led the league in steals 6 years. 6 years this man led the league in steals. Okay? He's averaged 11.6 assists. 11.6. 11 is almost double what Steph Curry has done most of his years. 10.7, 9.8, 9.1, 9.7, 10.7, 10.2, 10. This man has averaged a double-double. Steph Curry never once, never one time has Steph Curry averaged a double-double in a season. Never once? Really? Steph Curry, Chris Paul has averaged a double-double 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years. 6 years. He's averaged a double-double as the point guard. And scoring, 19 points, 10 assists, 2.5 steals. 19 points, 10 assists. 19.5, 10 assists. 18 points, 9 assists. 18, 7.9. 15, 8. 17, 6.7. His worst years in his entire career is Steph Curry career high. His rookie year, 7.8 assists, 16 points, 7.8 assists. And last year with OKC, 6.7 assists. Those are Steph Curry's career highs. This year, he averaged 8.9 assists and 16 points. For his career, he averages 18 points and 9.4 assists. He averages a double-double for 16 years. Steph Curry shoots his ass off, and you say he better than him. Really? That's all it takes is to shoot and score more points? As the point guard, it's more to your job duties than to shoot the ball, man. It's just more to it. I mean, that's not it. And Chris Paul can shoot. You know, he averaged 40% from the field. I mean, he ain't a Steph Curry three-point shooter, but he 37% from the field from three. 47% from two for his career. Steph Curry, again, 6.9, 8.5, 7. 7.7 and 8.5 is the best he ever did, is getting his other teammates involved by passing. He led the league in steals 1 year with 2.1. If you go to his three-point, it's amazing, 43%. They both 47% from the field, though. 47% for Curry from the field. Chris Paul, for his career, 47%. He just don't take as many threes. He 37%. I mean, I can break it down. Chris Paul as a point guard is a better point guard. He is. So, you know, Steph Curry may have flashier numbers. You may say overall he may be a better player, maybe, give or take. But if he didn't have Draymond Green and Klay Thompson, I don't think Steph Curry could have did what he did. Chris Paul never had that type of supporting cast until this year. And he took him to the finals, even though he old now. And yeah, 35 is old in the NBA. That's old in the NBA. All right, we done talked about this enough. Y'all want to talk about this Maria Taylor? You know what I'm saying? Hey, Josie, I got to let these people know. I think a lot of these guys is young, and I think they don't really know what a point guard's supposed to do. And, you know, I think they forget. You got Isaiah, Magic, Steph, CP3. I wouldn't put it in that order. I put Magic, Zeke, CP3, then maybe Steph. Or Oscar Robertson. If you put in Oscar Robertson, I put in maybe Magic, Oscar Robertson, Isaiah, and then CP3. If I'm going to do it that way. Giannis with the block. I don't know. I forgot about what you call it. Yeah, so Bucky, that's the problem with women also. When women get older and they don't have the same cute factor, they get relegated to being damn near taken off TV in the same positions. Like Maria Taylor is more attractive than Rachel Nichols, and then by her being black, that's a double whammy, a twofer. And so she lost her job for that. But I think it's wrong that it can only be one job for women in sports. Not to say, you know, I think they need to be qualified, but it's messed up. They all got to fight for one job. I'm not saying stats-wise CP3 will win anytime. All I'm saying, look at Steph highlight reel. Highlight reel? A highlight reel is a highlight reel. That don't mean nothing. Yeah, because you look at highlights. I'm talking about their real production. I mean, I can take highlights of stuff and turn it into anything. You can't. That's the problem with this generation. Y'all highlight reel generation, man. YouTube highlight reel. Yeah, Steph Curry got flashier stuff. All Chris Paul do, all he do is win, 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 no matter what. Like, he ain't sitting there making highlight reel, although Chris Paul does have some highlight reel on his stuff. That doesn't mean nothing, man. Does Tim Duncan have a dope highlight reel versus Kevin Garnett? But who won more championships? Who was the better player? Like, who gives a damn about a highlight reel, bro? That's just marketing. This is a good question. Gary Payton is a very good player. Very good. He's a top 10 point guard, more than likely. But I wouldn't put him in the top 5. But Gary Payton, he wasn't better than Stockton. He did have Sean Kemp and they did very good in Seattle. They won 66 games one year. And Gary Payton was a very well-rounded, complete player. So I'm not asleep on the glove. Gary was my era. He was a dope-ass player. He could score, play D, and do it all. But at the same time, he wasn't he's not up there as a overall leader better than these guys. Nobody was alive when he played. Come on now. You can look at the highlight reels. You can look at the statistics of Oscar Robertson. You don't have to be alive to know stuff. That's this young generation now. I can tell you in your 20s. As if I wasn't alive, then it don't matter. If I didn't see it, it don't count. I mean, that don't mean anything. You know, you got to think outside of that frame of mind. It's a lot of stuff that people wasn't alive to see and do, but that don't mean it didn't count. I never saw Wilt Chamberlain play or Jerry West, but you can't take away from what Jerry West did. Jerry West was a great player. He was really a 2-guard in a point guard's body. Magic is the greatest point of all time. I would probably still go with that. Oscar Robertson, I might put number 2. So, God forbid a black woman just earned a spot. It has to be about race now. Well, ESPN made it about race, not Rachel Nichols. Rachel Nichols said, I wish her all the success in the world, but because ESPN is trying to make up for their poor record on diversity, they want to hurry up and give her my job. She basically saying, great, give her the success, give her a job, just don't fire me to cover up for your mistakes. And she got a point. Who would want to lose their job for somebody else, whatever it may be? I wouldn't. Now, that don't mean she hated on the girl. People tried to make it seem like it was her downplaying or saying that she only got the job because she black. She didn't say that. She was basically pointing the finger at ESPN the whole time and not at what you call it. Derrick Rose never got hurt. Yeah, he would have been dope. Derrick Rose was on the road to being a top 5 point guard. But again, he's a shooting guard in the point guard body. But he did average about 7 assists a game when he was with the Bulls and 8 assists a game. But he was really a scoring 2 guard. All right, let me pull up this one article that Amin El Hassan said that I thought was really good. And I agree with what he said. And I think it's messed up that this is what ESPN basically making these women go at each other for this job. So Amin El Hassan, who used to be in the NBA front office and with the Phoenix Suns actually, and he be on the jump, and he's pretty funny. He's on Dan Le Batard, which Dan Le Batard has actually got some interesting takes as well. But ESPN let a lot of their talented people go, and I don't watch ESPN anymore because it's boring. Anyway, he said about Rachel Nichols that let's see, after the audio, which whoever leaked this audio recording is a straight bitch too, because they just started a bunch of drama and stuff, which was a private conversation. I think people are outraged and look for outrage all the time. Like, people like to be upset these days. People like to be outraged, and they like to make something out of everything. So this Maria Taylor, because this recording happened last year. This happened last year, and it's just now getting leaked, and everybody is talking about it. She said, I wish Maria Taylor all the success in the world. She covers football. She covers basketball, Nichols reportedly said in July 2020. If you need to give her more things to do because you are feeling pressure about your crappy long-time record on diversity, which, by the way, I know personally from the female side of it, like, go for it. Just find it somewhere else. You are not going to find it from me or taking my thing away. What's wrong with that? Like I say, why they couldn't both get the job? Why they couldn't split it? Why they couldn't both have more opportunity? Why can't be more opportunities for women than just one job? I don't understand that. Now the comments made their way to Taylor, and she refused to work on the air with Rachel Nichols. Really? Really? You gonna refuse to work? I think that was petty of Maria Taylor. What Rachel Nichols ain't do nothing to you? That was her private conversation. She says she wished you all the best. I mean, what NBA player doesn't wish another NBA player to do well and succeed? But if you about to take my starting spot and put me on the bench or put me out the league, I want you to have success on another team now. Why you got to put me out the league? Why you got to put me on the bench or take away my job? I mean, that's human nature. How many of y'all at y'all job and somebody get hired new and you want to help them so that they can do a good job, but next thing you know, they say, oh yeah, that's your replacement. And now you unemployed, and now you need to find a new job. How many of y'all want that? I mean, it's just not realistic. I want them to have the job and let me keep my job too. I don't think that's a horrible thing to say. So Amin El Hassan said, I wouldn't have been on the jump if it weren't for Rachel Nichols. And I know the same is true for T-Mac, Tracy McGrady, and Stack, Steven Jackson. When they tried to get funny style with my contract, she stood up for me and made sure I was treated right. She'd been an ally, not just to me in public and behind closed doors. And see, that's the thing. ESPN is the problem. They getting funny with everybody contract, and it just so happened Maria Taylor is in contract disputes with ESPN right now, which is probably why they felt the pressure to go ahead and probably allow this to be released and try to give her the job. They offered her $5 million a year, and she turned it down. Really? Like I say, I don't have nothing to say against Maria Taylor either, but $5 million a year? What the hell is she? Who's tuning in to hear what she got to say? For $5 million a year? They paying Stephen A. $20 million then. $5 million a year, and she turned it down because she feels she deserves more money. Y'all let me know in the comments. Does Maria Taylor deserve more than $5 million a year? $5 million? She making more than some of the damn NBA players. It's players on the team in the finals right now on the bench that don't make $5 million a year. Straight up. I could go to Basketball Reference and pull up their salaries. Like, what? And she just talking about it. They got to actually play it. Now, he said, please note, this isn't a dismissal of Maria or her feelings. She's great and deserving of everything she accomplished in her career. But the convo that needs to occur is, why is there a Highlander there can only be one mentality when it comes to women in high-profile positions at ESPN? And I agree with him 1,000%. Why is there only one? Why can there only be one job? Why can there only be one woman on the show? That does not make sense. They're cheap. They're cheap, and they're trying to make these people fight over this job, and they don't need to. They have enough money where they could give people the opportunities. It's not necessary. Let's go to the Phoenix Suns roster. This is the current Phoenix Suns roster. Now, I don't know how much every person get paid offhand, but I'm pretty sure it's somebody not making $5 million. Look at this. Damian Jones, Torrey Craig, Abdel Nader, Frank Kaminsky, Cameron Payne is making 1.9. Langston Galloway, Etwan Moore, Javon Carter, Cameron Johnson, Jalen Smith, Michael Bridges. So it's only 5 people on the team making more than $5 million a year. Only 5. Only 5 players on the entire team make more than $5 million a year. And she said it ain't enough for her to talk about the damn job. To talk. It's only 5 players on the damn team. Chris Paul making $41 million, but he at the end of his big, huge contract. A lot of people thought by the time he got to this point that he would be hugely overpaid and he would be washed up. And it turns out he's not. He led them to the finals. Now, he does have an option year, player's option, where he can get another $40 million next year, but he may test the open market. Now, it's only 5 players that make more than $5 million a year on the Phoenix Suns. Let's look at the Milwaukee Bucks. Let's see how many is on the Bucks making more than $5 million a year. That's crazy, y'all. Only 5 players on the Suns make more than $5 million a year. And I'm not saying this to diss her. I'm just saying I think she don't realize how much money that is. It's only 5 players on the Bucks. Only 5 players on the Bucks make more than $5 million a year, and that's PJ Tucker, Brooke Lopez, Drew Holiday, Giannis, and Chris Middleton. Chris Middleton make more money than Giannis. How many of y'all knew that? Chris Middleton making $33 million this year. Giannis making $27. But it depends on what year and their contracts they are in. I could pull it up, but I don't want to get sidetracked. So Pat Connaughton don't make $5 million. Bobby Portis, DiVincenzo. They still paying Larry Sanders $1.8 million. Wow. Jeff Teague, he only made $800,000. So, you know, $5 million a year is a lot of money to talk about sports. I'm in the wrong business. Y'all want to do a call in? Come on. I'm going to go ahead and put the link up if y'all want to come on in. Yep. ESPN is very shady. Very shady. Say who she thinks she is, Chelsea Clinton. Hey, $5 million, man. What in the world? So, you're right. Giannis is about to get that $200 million. I agree. D-Weave, I agree with you. I hate all this chatty patty mess. You're right. And $5 million turned down. I can't believe this either. I can't believe this either. Here, how about this, Kobe and Detroit? Come on in. Click on the link and we can talk. That way you ain't gotta, all I can go by is what you write. You wrote it. I don't know what you mean. So I can't believe Middleton make 33 million right now either. He getting paid, ain't he? That's why he showed up big in the last 2 games without Giannis. He got that big paycheck. He better. What's up, Michael? How you doing, man?
Yo, what's up, Jay? You hear me?
Yeah, I hear you, man. What's up? What's on your mind?
Man, I just want to hop in on this Rachel and Maria topic.
All right, what you want to say about that? What you think?
Man, I'm happy for Maria. I don't really care too much about Rachel, man. Forget her. I'm glad they kicked her out the finals for whining. She's been there for like 10 years. Now, 1 year you're not doing it. You're not the main person doing the show. Now you want to complain? Like, come on, get out of here, man. I want to hear that.
She got bills to pay.
Okay,
that's like you've been working a job. So you
she's
see,
not going broke if you don't host the finals.
Okay, that's true. Let me ask you this: like, if I remember right, you say you drive trucks, right?
No, I'm looking into driving trucks.
Okay, well, let's say you had your trucking job for 10 years. All of a sudden, we got this new driver. We about to take you off of your main route for a while to get him a shot. You happy with that?
Happened, though.
She ain't working.
Because she was at first she was still going to do the finals, but she was going to do the sideline report. The thing that Doris does, but now she's not doing it at all because of the comments that she made. So they took it off completely. So if the scenario you paint is not the same thing, because in your scenario they took me off completely. That's like they putting me on. That's like they putting me on dispatch, and then they bring the new driver in. But in this scenario, she's not going to be the main woman doing the NBA finals. She would still been part of it, but she just been the sideline reporter. She wouldn't have been like the main host.
But that's what she said. Why they taking away her job? Why they couldn't make Maria do the sideline reporting since she knew? And I'm the vet.
Man, she's being salty. Man, she's being salty. Man, she should just took it on the chin like a woman. Just do her job. Like, what's wrong with you?
But she said she wish her all the best. She never hated on Maria. She hated on ESPN for not giving them both the job or something, or not giving them both a shot. Why it can only be one. Yeah, Chris Paul just twisted his ankle too. I don't care for Rachel Nichols either. I'm not biased, but I don't necessarily care for Maria Taylor either. As far as looks, she looks better than Rachel Nichols.
I think she's better than Rachel in terms of calling the game because she has actual basketball experience. So I feel like she knows more about what she's talking about.
Neither one of them is that interesting like that. Although I like Rachel Nichols.
Not interesting at all.
Rachel Nichols got a lot of experience with the NBA players and knows a lot of inside stuff, and she a little more funnier sometimes, at least on the jump. I see her personality better on the jump. You watch the jump?
At all. I do, but I don't not because of her, because she just when she goes on her like her little rants, her little monologues, it's not really interesting at all, to be honest with you. Like it sounds, I don't know, for me it sounds phony when she tries to paint this storybook picture. Like, man, get out of here, bro. She's so boring, man. It's like typical white woman shit.
Yeah, like I said earlier, I don't tune in to see anybody in sports really, other than Barkley and Shaq when they going at it is interesting. Stephen A got some points. And then sometimes Max. But really, other than that, is nobody really interested in sports journalism at all to me, other than that male or female to me, that is saying stuff that you know is great takes. A lot of them is kind of boring. That's why I should have really got into
Yeah, so
broadcast
get Rachel out of
journalism.
here. Yeah, so get Rachel out of here. Yo, kick the roll, her toots. Let our black queen out here call this game, man. What do you here?
I
The hell?
don't disagree with that. I'm just saying I feel her in the sense of why you got to take my job away just
Man,
because
she
of
good, bro.
they
She not
thing.
going hungry. She not going hungry. She good. You know, she got a rich husband, so she
Who's
ain't
her
starving out here,
husband?
right? I know it's
Who's her?
some rich Hollywood dude. I forgot his name, but she's good, man. Though she's not starving for she's not starving out here.
Okay, and they say they can barely hear you.
You can hear me?
I can hear you good, but I don't know. He say he can barely hear you. Um, I agree with Brandon Bates. The final should be on TNT. Barkley and Shaq way more interesting, and even Lil Kenny, and what you call Ernie. All of them way more interesting than any other crew in sports combined, put together. To me, um, they the only ones I'd watch after the show. I mean, after the game, and see what they had to say and talk and who going fishing and all of that stuff. They are way more entertaining. And Barkley is the
Yeah,
key
but they're
because
like
he
the
had been
top.
unsaid anything.
Yeah, but they're like
Huh?
the top of the they're the top of the ESPN. So I'm not gonna compare
Right.
Rachel and fucking and Maria to them to those dudes. I think me personally, I think she does a good job. I don't hate her, and this is her first time doing the finals, and these like two new teams besides LeBron and the Golden State Warriors in the finals. So like, hey, might as well. Like I don't mind it.
Okay. I mean, I don't disagree. Shaq Duncan say he 100% agree with. He say 100% disagree with this guy. I don't necessarily disagree with you, but I don't exactly agree either. I think what you're saying
You don't
is
gotta agree.
true. I'm like 50-50 with you. I agree with what you're saying about changing up this, that, and the other. I just think that they should give more opportunities to people. ESPN is being cheap, and they could probably, and I think they paying them a little too much, and they turning it down. 5 million a year, and she turned it down. I mean, I don't know, man. I definitely should have stayed in school for broadcast journalism. I could have been more interesting than a lot of these people that's on TV for sure. But
Right, and
damn,
for the guy who disagree with me, the guy who disagree with me, yeah, Shaq, whatever, hop
Shaq.
on, bro, hop on the line. Let's talk about it.
I know. Where's Detroit Kings? He say he gonna kill me in the basketball debate. Where you at? You know, I always give people opportunity to come on up, and it ain't about arguing or fight. We can, honestly
Shaq,
debate and
I said,
make points.
Shaq, I said I was biased already, so you need to clean your ears. I said I was biased. That I don't like Rachel Nichols, so just come miss me with that.
Yeah. Rachel Nichols to me, I don't. I'm neutral. I'm neutral on Maria Taylor too. Like really, I'm neutral on all of these people, other than Barkley, Shaq, and Stephen A. They the only ones that stand up. Skip Bayless is the kind that make me mad with some of the stuff he say. Jalen Rose
He's
tries
very
too hard
entertaining.
sometimes to
Now he's
me.
entertaining to me, Jalen Rose. I like Jalen Rose.
Sometimes he's more entertaining to me on his show with Jacoby, Jalen and Jacoby. I feel like he talks a little more freely, and Jacoby kind of makes it interesting when they switch it up, and where they say keep it moving or stay or whatever or style all that. But when he's talking on this, he's like vanilla, man. He don't have
Yeah,
really much.
Jalen's like
Yeah,
the only one of the few analysts that I believe his takes. Like other analysts, I think they just say stuff like shock value, like, oh, this team won game one, oh, they're gonna sweep the series. Like what? After game one, that's what you got. So yeah,
right.
he's like one of the few analysts I believe.
Now I am a Jalen Rose fan. I do like Jalen as a player with Michigan, even when he was with the Bulls, the Pacers. But His takes is vanilla to me. All right, we got Shaq Duncan joining the show. Shaq Duncan, welcome to the show, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
What's
How about
up,
y'all?
Shaq?
What's up? What's
I'm
up?
doing
I hear you loud and clear, man. So what's up, man? What's on your mind? You say you disagree with him about the Rachel Nichols and Maria Taylor. What's your take on that situation?
Well, Rachel is good at her job. So, like, I don't think you can be biased about somebody that it's not about,
I
you
can
know,
be biased.
liking Rachel. It's just about she's good at her job and they just dropped her based off Black Lives Matter. That's the only reason they did that.
Yeah.
I don't like her though.
So
I
you
think
don't
she's
think her
bland.
takes are that good, Mike?
Not at all. I think she's so bland. She's like burnt toast. She like not burnt toast. She's just like plain toast to me. She brings no flavor to anything.
Don't get me wrong.
That's why she
Maria
has so many like swaggy NBA players on her show because just to drown her out.
Okay. Go ahead, Shaq. What was you gonna say?
I was like, don't get me wrong, Maria Taylor is good. I listen to Maria Taylor all the time, especially for college football. I'm a huge college football fan, so Maria Taylor do college football. So I like Maria Taylor, but I don't think they should have made that move. Like that was a petty move by the network, definitely.
I think so too. That's where I'm
Shaq,
on is the
Shaq and
network. They
Jay,
shouldn't have, huh?
like, don't get me wrong. Yeah, I know ESPN. It's clearly that the bias right now. Not bias. They're pandering to the black cause right now
Yeah.
by putting the black woman. But I don't mind her. I don't mind her. I'm supporting Maria Taylor because I've seen it for so many years.
Yeah.
Just doing like Shaq said, from college sports to football, and she always doing. She does a lot of stuff. So I don't think she came out of nowhere and just got this job. I think she earned it, even though I
Right.
think ESPN tried to pander to the black community.
And that's why Rachel Nichols gave her props. Like she didn't
Right.
doubt.
Right.
But she was
Right.
kind of
I agree.
condescending when she was giving her props a little bit.
How?
Because there was one part when she's saying, "Oh, you need to give this girl more jobs to do." I understand it, but don't give her my job. So I was like, "Whoa." When she
What's
said
the
that part, I'm like,
condescending part? I wouldn't want you to take away my job either, though.
"Oh man, she's good, bro. I'm telling you, she's good. She don't need to host the finals every year." Like,
But you touch that bag. When you touch that bag, it's a problem then.
Man, for real, man, with anybody's money. Jalen Rose and these men get to do it for 10, 20 years.
Jay, okay, I'll give it to you, Jay. If next week we see Rachel Nichols on the corner begging with a chain cup, begging for change, then I'll give it to you.
I mean, I get your point, but that shouldn't have nothing to do with it, though. And
She
what
good,
Shaq
nigga.
was saying,
She's not old. She's not old. The NBA Finals hosting job. She's like that doesn't belong to her.
nobody is owed anything. That's true. But I think both women have earned the spot, and they shouldn't have put them in the situation where, like Amin El Hassan said, there should only be one. So now they arguing over a job with Disney where they can afford both of them, or gave them both a shot or split duties or something, or just broaden it to more people on the show talking or something. But
And clearly
instead, they took
Maria
away
wasn't
her
feeling.
job. And
And
like
clearly
I
Maria
say,
wasn't feeling what Rachel was saying.
who?
Maria wasn't feeling what Rachel was saying. So clearly they have some issues that we don't know
Yeah,
about.
I was just about to say that I read some type of I'm not sure what I read, but apparently Maria didn't want to work with her, so that's why they took
Yeah,
her.
Yeah, so
that's what
clearly they
was
got
said.
some issues that we don't know about. So
It's
we can't
petty
just take it at face value.
because if I was Maria, I would have found nothing wrong with what she said. If I was
I
Maria,
wouldn't have either.
I would have gotten in front of it and said, I don't find anything wrong with what she said. I know where she's coming from, but Maria's not going to do that because she don't want to mess up her bag either. So
Right.
And they probably got some issues
And
behind the
plus
scenes that
being
we don't know about.
upset. Yeah, but plus also being upset and offended is a good thing now. Oh, I'm the one that was wrong. I'm the offended person. So like it's a culture of being outraged and triggered and jarred and offended now where people, like to be in that position, whether it's subconsciously or, consciously. Everybody is upset about something you said, did, didn't do, didn't say. And I'm with Shaq. I would have gotten in front of it too. Like she didn't, she blaming ESPN. And with Maria having a contract dispute, if she feels she worth more than 5 million, then it's in her benefit to say, not only are they making us fight about it, they not giving me the money I deserve too. But
And
she
Jay,
tried not to speak out against her employer because then they might say, well, here, the hell with you, go to Fox. But
and Jay,
they
you know
need
what?
either.
Jay, you know
Go
what?
ahead.
I didn't like what Rachel did when she
What's up?
was on her show. What's called The Jump. She talked about the
Right.
situation for 10 seconds, and then she had Kendrick Perkins and Richard Jefferson
This is it right
basically
here.
apologize for her for like 20 for like they talked more than her
Well,
on the
so
situation.
this is it right here. And what she said is true as a journalist. So she went to journalism school, whereas that doesn't necessarily mean that's what you need to do to be in this business. So you actually used to be a journalist, to be a sports journalist, but then they give it to former athletes all the time, like a Jalen Rose, Shaq Barkley, and they are able to do a great job too, or Maria Taylor or whatever. So you don't necessarily have to be a journalist to talk about the sport, But she's saying what she learned in journalism school is to talk about the story and not be the story. And so that's why she didn't want to say too much, because she's became the story now. And she not trying to be the story. The story is the NBA Finals in basketball. The story ain't Rachel
Then
Nichols
Jay,
and
if that's the
Maria
case,
Taylor.
Jay, if that's the case, then she should just say what she said. Then they shouldn't have let Kendrick Perkins and Jefferson speak on her behalf. Basically, she should have just said what she said. Then went to commercial, and then continue with the show.
But this is why I think they spoke, because it was an assassination on her character, as if she was racist or saying only Maria
But they
Taylor
had
got the
nothing to do with
job
that
because of
situation.
the diversity hire, which is not what she said. And so they spoke on their relationship with working with her and what they know her to be. And so that's why they spoke on it the best. Like, just like I can't come on here and say, hey man, I do great videos, watch me, this, that, and the other. It's best if other people say, hey Jay, I like your show, this, that, and the other. So you can't always toot your own horn or stand up for yourself. Sometimes it's best to let other people speak up and say
But
stuff.
it's not about tuning your horn, Jay. It's just apologize for what you said and just move on. You don't need. I don't need to bring out my black friends to prove that I'm not racist. Like what?
Hey, that's that's a good idea. Everybody that was attacking her, I didn't see everybody comments, but I know Woj came out and said she's a bad teammate. And to all the people that saying, I can't remember
Really?
the comment, but
I
yes,
missed that.
and
And if you
all
see
the
Kendrick Perkins after the fact that he was uncomfortable being put in that position to defend Rachel because he had nothing to do with the situation.
he would say that. He's gonna say that.
Because he want to be with
He
his
did.
sister too.
He didn't
He
have to
wanted,
say that. He didn't have
But
to say that he was uncomfortable being put in that position, but he said it.
but he can't agree with a white woman. That's basically what it
right,
is.
over a black woman. Right. That's
He
gonna
did
mess
agree
him
with
up.
Rachel though. He
But at
defended
the
Rachel
same
actually.
time, he said, I'm gonna go ahead and play it. They
And play
probably,
it
I
because
might.
he was
So if
because
y'all are
I don't know
watching this
which
on the
side he was
replay,
on.
yeah, anybody watching this on the replay, y'all need to watch this show live, because I might have to be bleeping this out and blanking this out. So if y'all ain't hearing it, that's because of copyright reasons, and y'all should have been watching live. All right, I'm about to play it. Here you go. Don't be the story. Can y'all hear it? I don't plan to break that rule today or distract.
Yeah, I
I'm
hear.
what they teach you in journalism school is don't be the story. And I don't plan to break that rule today or distract from a fantastic finals. But I also don't want to let this moment pass without saying how much I respect, how much I value our colleagues here at ESPN, how deeply, deeply sorry I am for disappointing those I hurt, particularly Maria Taylor, and how grateful I am to be part of this outstanding team. Well, Rachel, I want to say thank you. Thank you for accepting responsibility for your actions.
as someone that has known you for a long time, being around you, you have treated me with the utmost respect, and you always made me feel comfortable in your presence. And I know your heart, great person, great individual. I also know Maria Taylor, great person as well, very, very talented, hardworking, and I feel like she also deserves every opportunity that is presented her way. My only hope is that we have a commitment overall to support each other through this process and continue to support each other through our journey.
No, I agree
A
with Perk.
commitment from who, Perk?
Taylor. I've worked with
I
her
don't
since
think
I
he
joined
said nothing
ESPN
so
and Get Up
uncomfortable,
and
but
Countdown, and I've known Rachel
But that's
for
what he
20
said.
years.
Like, look up Kendrick
Rachel and our
Perkins after
entire
this,
group here have had
and
some
Richard
very
Nichols.
difficult conversations over this time period, and those conversations don't end here. We will continue to have uncomfortable conversations. No one is excused. She is not excused. I am not excused. Perk. This doesn't just go away.
Richard
We have to
Jefferson,
learn
you
to
have done nothing. Why are you
become better
apologizing, bro?
for each other,
mm,
and really through our actions more than anything.
You see what I
And
mean?
that is our responsibility, and we all have a role in that, and that's something that I take pride in, and I hold to myself and everyone to a very high standard.
Well, thank you guys both for being with me here today. Thank you, everyone out there, for being with us here today.
all
Why
right.
did
You say
Richard
what
Jefferson
now?
apologize?
I said they're speaking like, thank you for accepting responsibility. What did she say wrong? Like, why does she have to
Right.
accept responsibility for what?
But why is
Exactly.
Richard Jefferson apologizing?
He wasn't apologizing.
He said, I had to accept responsibility. For what? What did he
That
do?
hold on. Let me rewind it.
No, he's just saying we got to accept responsibility as a team. Like whenever
Right.
something happens to us,
Right. Here, listen to it
But
again.
they didn't do anything, though. That's my point.
No, he didn't say that. Just listen.
This process and continue to support each other through our journey.
No, I agree with Perk. Let me first say this. I fully support Maria Taylor. I've worked with her since I joined ESPN at Get Up and Countdown, and I've known Rachel for 20 years. Rachel and our entire group here have had some very difficult conversations over this time period, and those conversations don't end here. We will continue to have uncomfortable conversations. No one is excused. She is not excused. I am not excused. Perk. This doesn't just go away.
What are you not excused from, bro?
And become better for each other, and really through our actions more than anything, and that is our responsibility, and we all have a role in that, and that's something that I take pride in, and I to myself and everyone to a very high standard.
Well, thank you guys.
So he's just trying to say they not excused from being held accountable and talking about this basically race and what's going on with this job opportunities.
which I think, which is that's he's blowing smoke at that point, because every time a white coach is hired in the NBA, Stephen A. Smith always says, go on these racist rants about white privilege, and he's
Right.
never apologized. So I think it's just the white game. It's a white person
Right.
time, and that's what's wrong about it. So,
And Stephen
And,
A. also is a boss, though, so his job ain't in jeopardy. Whereas Richard Jefferson is lucky to be talking on ESPN right now, because he ain't even a star. Neither is Perkins. Although Perkins does have some interesting takes and talk more interesting than Jefferson. Jefferson very vanilla.
Stephen A. is not a boss, bro.
Man, Stephen A. could go any network and get his own show right now. What are you talking about?
Stephen A. tweeted the other day, I wake up every morning on how can I make my bosses money. So clearly he made himself he's not a boss.
Yeah, he says that type of stuff publicly, and the truth be told, that's why he will have a job, because he thinks on how he can keep making other people money, and as long as you got somebody on your team that's keeping your ratings up and making you money, you gonna have your own show.
Just look up the Kendrick Perkins and Rachel Nichols when he said after he went on the show, he talked about like he was uncomfortable doing that thing.
Yeah, that's a punk move for him to say that. For one, he didn't have to say what he said. He said that. He could have just said, I support both of y'all and I wish y'all the best, and I know both of y'all are good people, or something like that. He went on talking what he said about how he know her heart and this, that, and the other, and who he wrote that and said that.
Yeah, that was a
No,
punk
but
move.
he was talking like ESPN made him go on the show and just like defend Rachel. That's how That's how I took it, like how he framed it when he did that again.
He didn't really defend her.
He didn't take. He didn't like. He defended both of them. To be honest with you, he took both sides.
Exactly.
Probably said what he said because people thought he defended her too much, on the show. That's probably why he said what he said.
And that goes back to my whole thing about everybody got to be mad about something. Like it was nothing to be mad about what he said. So people like Shaq, you may be right. People probably did think he defended her too much. He didn't. Like what? Like it's just crazy how everybody got a culture of outrage and being upset about stuff nowadays. Like golly, like people is just messed up. Queen Yasmin said Rachel got her job because of nepotism. It was the black woman who would have been missing the opportunity. So
can we get a black woman on this live to see her opinion, what she thinks about this?
Yeah. Now this right here, what she's saying is not actually accurate. And Jalen Rose's daughter said the same thing, which is very ironic considering nobody knows who the hell Jalen Rose's daughter is if she wasn't Jalen Rose's daughter. And she talking about nepotism. You only got a take right now because you're Jalen Rose's daughter. That's the definition of nepotism. How many of y'all knew Jalen Rose's daughter name or what the hell she talking about?
I didn't even know
didn't.
Brought her up.
Okay, thank you. I didn't either. Now this on Larry Brown Sports, which Larry Brown was a old school coach, baby. But anyway, here's the video of Jalen Rose's daughter Mariah ripping into Rachel Nichols, and she's full of inaccuracies in what she says, and I'm gonna break it down. But not only that, this article breaks it down, and I'm gonna let y'all hear what she say first on TikTok. Oh, wait a minute. Let me go to here it is right here.
Because let's quickly talk about Miss Rachel Nichols. Maria Taylor knows what a generational talent she is in the broadcasting world, so I don't even got to go there and hype her up. Let's talk about the fact that she actually played basketball. And if you want to go there, let's go there. Let's talk about how you're related to Diane Sawyer, arguably the queen of ABC. Nah. You got your job as one of the faces of ESPN because you're so entertaining and talented and so good at it, right? You are a woman in the sports world, and you sat there and you laughed about the Me Too movement, about your fellow women complaining about being sexually assaulted at work. You think that's funny? What really got me is you're tired of the Black Lives Matter movement because you weren't tired about posting about it or making your stupid little storybook monologues about it. Maybe instead of crying and calling Maria a diversity token, you can direct that energy to the people who think there can only be one woman on that stage. And if we're being real, Rachel Nichols is a subpar reporter. Subpar, boring, not great. I'm sorry your white privilege didn't work this time. Maybe next time. Nah, because that's quick.
All right.
So because of her father, what is she talking about? Sit down.
Thank you. And also,
is she related to Diane Sawyer though?
I believe so, but I never knew that. But Rachel Nichols went to journalism school, and she been putting in work.
That's a big deal, though. That's a big.
That is a big deal.
Diane Sawyer, like,
that's a big deal.
Brush that under the rug.
Yeah, but here, look at this. It says they break it down as well, but I'm gonna break it down after this. But it's obvious that Mariah, that's Jalen Rose's daughter, was trying to go viral with the hit video, but she misses the irony of her opening grievance about Rachel Nichols' nepotism, which completely ignores that the sole reason for Rose's relevancy is who her father is. She also ignores Nichols' lengthy journalism background as a newspaper writer for nearly a decade, including 8 years for the Washington Post. She ignores that CNN and Turner recognized Nichols' talent and gave her reporting and show hosting duties before Nichols was brought back to ESPN to host The Jump and other NBA programming. She also was completely wrong in her claim that Nichols should have directed her complaint at ESPN rather than Taylor, because that is exactly what Nichols did. She never hated on Maria Taylor. She said that ESPN is the ones doing this and it's only given one job and this, that, and the other. And it said right here, it's sad to see someone trying to get famous when an inaccurate attacking video such as this one, they said, but the apple doesn't fall far from the race baiting tree. Now, I don't know if Jalen Rose is a race baiter, but his daughter, although she is kind of cute, she was wrong with what the hell she was talking about. So I don't know. So let me ask Shaq, and then I get to you, Mike. What do you think about this? Do you think she got some points, or she off?
Yeah, she's definitely off. She's definitely off. It was definitely for clout. That's the day we live in. You know, everybody want to make a video, and she probably would never touch on this topic ever again. She's gonna get her clout and move on to what she want to talk about. That's basically what it is.
Right. Mike, what you think about this?
Well, who wrote this article? Is it ESPN?
No, this is Larry Brown Sports. Larry Brown.
Yeah. ESPN would never say anything that bad about somebody like that. They will praise her for that.
Right.
Yeah.
No, this is Larry Brown Sports.
I want to know like what she's wrong about. Cause I feel like, but what she's wrong about? She's just giving her opinion, saying that she thinks she's boring. Which I agree with. I think Rachel Nichols is boring. And
but that's the opinion.
But you're saying that she's wrong about her opinion. I'm like what's the?
Well, no, that's the only thing that was opinion. But she ignored that this woman worked for a decade in newspaper with the Washington Post, so it's not just a diversity hire. Diane Sawyer's hire.
TikTok. Want her to run down her list of accomplishments and career. Look,
you just don't say that.
Said that I'm stuck on the one thing that I'm stuck on that she said was, is she really related to Diane Sawyer? Because if she is, then that's a big deal that people are just ignoring right now. I'm gonna have to make that up, because if that's true, I don't want to hear nothing about Rachel Nichols crying about not having a job because she's related to that lady. She's good for life.
So let me put it this way. All right. Y'all know who John David Washington is, right? Denzel's son?
Yep.
Okay. Do y'all think he a good actor, decent actor, or what?
He's pretty decent, in my opinion.
I think he's pretty good. He was decent in Ballers. Even though Tenet is kind of weird, he did do a good job in it. So he's related to Denzel. So because you related to Denzel, you may get your foot in the door. But if you can't act, you won't get the job. Or you may get one acting job, but you won't keep continuously landing jobs because you don't have the talent. So maybe her being related to Diane Sawyer's got her foot in the door at the Washington Post. But if she didn't know how to write and be a good journalist, she would have gotten fired, or she wouldn't have gotten future jobs for the last 20 years. So you can't look at it one thing and say,
I'm not saying she's
that's
not
the
a
reason why. I know. I'm just saying.
I'm just saying
to what this woman's saying.
But I don't think she's saying she's not a journalist. She said that she was boring. She thinks she's boring, and she don't think she's entertaining.
She said she got her job because she related to Diane Sawyer's.
Yeah, but it's like what you said. Like, if she wasn't good at her job, she would have been fired a long time ago, right? You could get a job being related to someone. I got a job because I was related to a person that worked at a company. Like,
we all have. I got a job at UPS that way.
Yeah.
Right. But if I couldn't load or unload or do my job, I would have got fired.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Her job has nothing to do with this situation at all.
Right. I think that's trying to minimize her.
What I'm saying
is saying she only got her job because of that. And saying she boring, that's an opinion. So like you may say she boring and she may say it, and a lot of people may say it, but then on the other hand, a lot of people may think she not. There's no way to gauge that. You know what I mean? There's no way to say no, she is, or yes, she is, or whatever. Maybe it may be more people that say she is than not.
But Jay, you said you don't think she's entertaining, though. You said the only people
but I don't think Maria Taylor that entertaining either. Yeah, but like I said, it's only three that I find entertaining. I know, But like I said earlier, I don't think none of these people is entertaining, no. So, but that's my opinion. Just like Shaq said, he like her.
How old is the young lady?
Or Maria Taylor or whatever.
How is the young lady wrong then? By saying that she don't think she's entertaining.
But opinions don't mean that you're right or wrong. Like they say, opinions are like assholes. Everybody got one.
Yeah, it's not even about.
That's true, but that's true. But I'm trying to see like how this article saying that, oh, we just disproved everything. How you disprove her opinion?
Wait, you said it says what? Disprove her opinion?
Because you're saying that this article disproved everything she said in this video. Like, well, you can disprove her opinion?
Because it said that she got
related to Diane Sawyer or not.
Okay, but that's taken away the fact that she has been working for 20 years in journalism without coming to this show. Like, she has a lengthy resume and she earned her spot too. You can't say that Maria Taylor earned her spot because she played the sport, but Rachel Nichols didn't earn her spot, even though she got a degree in journalism, worked at the Washington Post for a decade, worked at all of these jobs and TNT and all of this. But, oh, well, throw that out the window because she related to Diane Sawyer. That's like saying Maria Taylor on TV because she cute.
Yeah, I'm only responding to what the girl said in the video. Now, I didn't hear her
That's
say
why I was disproving.
She didn't have any years.
You want me to play the video again, man? Because you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because you kind of said the same thing with Richard Jefferson saying, would he apologize? He wasn't apologizing.
He did apologize. He said we all got to take responsibility. Yo, he said that.
He said what?
He said we all have to take responsibility.
That's not an apology.
We can move on to the next topic, Jay. I say he apologized. He took responsibility. He said he took responsibility for what?
Yeah, they do something wrong, not about this specific topic.
Yeah, I'm talking about the Maria, this whatever her name is, this girl, Jalen Rose's daughter.
Right. So the difference in why I say she wrong in her take. I didn't talk about her opinion. I didn't say she wrong. She is entertaining. I didn't say that.
I said the article said that. I said the article.
The article didn't say she wrong. She's entertaining. The article said she's taken away from her journalism background as a newspaper writer for a decade. So this is to discredit her claims of nepotism. That's why I'm bringing this up. If you didn't have a background or experience, then this would be a accurate claim. But if you got a lengthy resume showing that you have worked and put in your dues, you can't say, oh, you just got it because you related to Diane Sawyer. That's like throwing all of your hard work in the garbage. You see what I'm saying? That's the point you're missing right there, is that's why I was bringing up her working at the Washington Post for a decade and working on CNN and on Turner, which is TNT. And, now she's been on the jump for years, putting in work. Like, she's earned her spot. She's worked a long time. Like Rachel Nichols been working with the NBA for over 20 years.
Is Rachel the only one that has that type of resume that's a female?
We're not talking about that. We're talking about what Jalen Rose's daughter is saying, as that she's trying to say Rachel Nichols only got this job as that. And I was disproving that she was wrong.
Yeah, she was wrong because that's a lot of work to put in. So you can make the case if she
got saying she's not the only. I'm sure she's not the only person with that kind of resume.
But we ain't talking about everybody. We talking about Rachel Nichols right now.
But why?
Her resume is deeper than Maria Taylor's.
Yeah,
they're not related to Diane Sawyer. That's why.
Oh my God! Go ahead, Shaq.
We only talk about that because she mentioned Diane Sawyer. Now you can make the case, if you want to do that, you can make the case that Maria only had that job because she played the game of basketball. That's the exact same thing that you're saying.
Yep. So, that's true.
You can't
discredit. Who she related to doesn't power.
But you can also say because she cute and she played basketball, that's why she's on the job and she's younger.
But Rachel was cute. Rachel was cute.
But now she's not as cute, and that's another thing that women have said. Just like Doris Burke, as they get older, they get pushed off of TV. Where you can let Chris Berman get fat and old, and he can stay on TV forever. Or Terry Bradshaw, bald and fat and all this, they can stay on TV forever. Barkley, they can stay on TV forever. But women, as soon as they ain't as attractive, they got to get pushed off of TV. So you know what I'm saying? That's messed up too. You know, they don't let the women do that. Not to say, you know, I want to see a fat old woman with a bald spot, but
yeah,
if they earn
like,
their job, you know what I mean?
You want to see the Big Show up?
The Big Show.
The finals.
Right. But like I say, my opinion, I don't think that a lot of these people are that entertaining to me anyway. But you know, that's my opinion.
Yeah, the only time I really care for Maria Taylor is during college football. That's the only time I really can care less who hosts the halftime show. So,
and what's your opinion?
See, I don't like college football.
Do you think she does a good job, like doing college football?
Absolutely, she's an incredible sideline reporter for college football.
Okay. See, I wouldn't know. I don't watch college football. Never did. Because I came from a pro town, Chicago, so they don't really talk about college much. So I never got into college basketball or football.
They should though, because y'all football teams stink.
You say because well, when I grew up, we was champions. The Bulls was the champs when I was in my time. You know what I'm saying? I graduated high school in '96. That's the year the Bulls went 72-10. So, like, even though I was going to college, I wasn't worried about a college team because the Bulls was the greatest team ever played. So, like, I'm not about to watch some kids throw up bricks.
Man.
Hey, Jay, got out on college football.
You were still fighting the British when the Bulls were good.
Get your ass out of here. What you say, Shaq, about the college football?
I said, y'all missing out, man. South, so college football is big in the South. So, like,
oh yeah, because y'all don't have a lot of pro teams too. But one thing about college football that I did not like and what made me not get into college football as much as it's too many teams and two differences in the college national championship. I liked how it used to be before they had the playoff format. I thought that was horrible. And it just was just too much to follow. I know everybody follow their team or their school, alma mater, or whatever. And my college didn't have that great of a team, so I didn't even follow that. So it just never applied to me personally as much. But I get it. College football is more loyal because they have their stadiums. Like I've been to like Michigan. You know what I mean? And I've been to Illinois, which Illinois ain't the same as Michigan, of course. But like the stadiums is humongous. They bigger than NFL stadiums.
Yeah.
And seat more people and stuff, you know, and stuff. Yeah. And the fan base, like I say, is more loyal. But I know I've been to college football games and basketball games, but that was for the party. Getting drunk and girls and all of that stuff more than like actually rooting for the team. So you know, I get it. But in Chicago is a big pro sports town. So all we talk about is pro sports. Basketball, baseball, football, hockey, everything is pro. And so you know, it's not the same. We don't even really televise and talk about college as much. But like you say, in the South, different. And, you know, it's more loyalty to college sports in those places, too. So I get like Alabama. Man, they probably got a more place in the face. You know,
all you
Roll Tide, they own the damn city.
Yeah, all you see in Alabama is just Crown Vics flags. So
Crown Vics. Why?
Yeah, people have a lot of Crown Vics in Alabama.
Crown Vic Ford, Crown Victoria. Why? What's that got to do with the college? What's that? What? I don't understand that.
That was just like an example of like just Alabama flags on cars, like everywhere.
Oh, okay. Crown Vic. See, every time we would see a Crown Vic or think of a Crown Vic, we thinking of the cops in Chicago because they used to ride Crown Vics back in the day. Crown Vic, Bubble Chevy, Box Chevy. That was the cop cars back in the day. So we would always think of that back in the day. Yeah, that dude made a good point. Jamel Hill got a similar resume. The only thing I think that she messed up is she got too political on the sports show. And she alienated the fan base and the network, and people didn't want to hear her ass. And
she said that on Twitter, and then ESPN was like, "Not chill."
She shut down Twitter. You said she shut down.
She said, they got her fired on Twitter
about Donald Trump and Nazi or something like that.
No, she said what she said about Trump on Twitter, and then I guess ESPN didn't like that, and then that's why she got fired.
Yeah, a lot of people was complaining. I mean, the brand is sports, so you can't change it up. Like Stephen A. doesn't talk about much other than sports on public and Twitter and stuff. He will say some stuff like George Floyd or something, but like everybody had to say something about that. You know what I mean? But
you don't have to.
Like they all are asked to. If you don't say, again, this is the culture of outrage. If you a person like Stephen A. and you don't say something about George Floyd, then you a sellout. You know, everybody gonna be mad at him for not saying it. And then if he do say stuff, then it's gonna be some people that'll be mad that he ain't talking about sports or something.
Yeah,
you know,
they would definitely fire me about my opinion on that.
So I'm gonna ask you this. So why was it okay to talk about George, but it wasn't okay for Jamel to talk about Trump on her private Twitter account, even on ESPN?
That's a good point. So George Floyd was a worldwide outrage that was on video of a man get murdered for $20. He got murdered. Whereas Trump was always an opinion. You know what I mean? So even if you feel this way, or he does do this, or does do that, it's people that agree with what he does. You know, his fan base, his supporters. He does get a lot of votes, and you know, it's one party that supports him and one party that doesn't. And so even if people are not part of the so-called cult or party that support him, in the end, it could come down to a difference of opinion. And so when you compare, I can't remember what she said exactly, but I could have swore she said or compared something about Nazi or something with Trump. I can't remember exactly, so don't quote me. But
it was on Twitter, though.
It definitely was on Twitter.
I just say
go ahead, Shaq.
She said it a little too early. If she would have waited, till election time, everybody had something to say then. She would have never got fired then.
And that's an excellent point. You want to be first on things, but the first person sometimes pays the cost. Like Kaepernick was too early. You see what I'm saying? And if he would have came out with George Floyd and then took the knee, everybody would have took the knee. He would have still been a quarterback, wouldn't have lost his job. You know what I mean? Now you got everybody taking the knee, and it ain't a big deal. But when he took the knee, everybody he got ostracized for it and lost his job because he was too early with it. Now, like I said, you want to be early on certain things and be aware, but a lot of times you'll pay the price in this country, at least for it, because you're the only one, or you out there by yourself with few supporters. You know what I mean? Like if Kaepernick would have came out and did the knee after George Floyd, nothing would have happened. Go ahead.
I think it's hypocritical of ESPN because I think lately, in the last couple of years, that ESPN allow their people to talk more political, but but Jamel Hill got fired for it, so I think it was a little hypocritical for them.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
very
Even though
hypocritical.
even though I
But
don't agree with everything Jamel Hill says, like I agree with her right to say it, you know, as an American, but whatever.
right. Hey, it's very hypocritical, and that's why Shaq was right here. That she was too early with it, basically, because had she came out, but because she was saying what she was one of the first, she took the brunt for it and had to pay the price for it more so than a lot of other people that talk politics now. But the climate changed. You know, big corporations, they like status quo. You know what I mean? Whether it's restaurants, McDonald's, all kind of stuff. They like status quo. They like to keep stuff going the way it's going. They don't like to change too much until it shows that it's profitable or majority accepted. Then they'll do it. But they don't like to be, you know, in the front. You know what I mean? And so I think that's what's happening with that. They say that the game is getting good. Yeah, I told
And
y'all
last
that
thing,
Phoenix
last thing
was
on the
going to
whole,
win.
last thing on the Rachel situation, man, Rachel, sit your old ass
Go ahead.
at home. Like, sit your old ass at home, man. You don't need to be talking. You don't need to be talking to LeBron James all the time. Other people could talk to LeBron, Chris Paul, and them. All right? Let the new generation get a turn. All right?
I think that's not on her. I think that's ESPN. Why has it only got to be one job, one opportunity?
Man, I don't care.
What you think on that, Shaq? You think she need to sit her ass down and get a new generation, or why it can't be both?
Now she could be on her show, or no, the jump, but you know, let somebody do the finals.
What you think about that, Shaq Duncan?
I say it's not about like a dislike to me. It's just about what ESPN did, and it was wrong. So she should have kept her job because the reason behind what they did, and they will never say they did it because of they was feeling pressure from the Black Lives Matter, but that's exactly why they did it. So she was 100% right. That's exactly why they did it. So I say,
yeah,
regardless of.
We lost you, man. Come on back. You come on back and finish it. But I agree with him. It ain't about a like or dislike to me either. Because that's an opinion. Like you don't like her or you do, that's fine. Some people may or may not. We got him back. All right. There you go. You back, man.
Okay. So yeah, that's basically what my point is. So if they would have gave it to Maria based off they just felt like Maria needed to be in that spot, that's okay. But they gave it to her based on pressure. And so it's right for Rachel to feel that way. I would feel that way too. Like you gave it to her based on what's going on in the world. Just like continue to do what we're doing.
Yeah, that's true. And also I look at it as like what Amin said, why is there only can be one? Like they got enough money to give more than one person a job doing that. It's at least a minimum of 4 games in the finals. Split it up. Let them have 2 and 2. Have one sitting there talking at the table and the other one on the sideline. Then the next game had a one that was on the sideline talking at the table, put the other one on the sideline. Or, you know, have them both sitting at the table. You know, split it up. Get more creative. You know, why only keep the same formula and the same amount of opportunities?
I don't agree with that, Jay.
You don't agree with that? I think it should only be
like
one at a time.
Tom Brady, that's like, hey, Tom Brady, you take the first 2 snaps, and then we're gonna bring in the backup quarterback. He'll take the next 2 snaps, and we're just gonna keep doing that. Keep going back and forth like that. No matter how good you do it.
That's not the same at all.
That ain't a good comparison, though.
No, it's not.
That's how I feel.
Shaq, what you think about that comparison?
Well, Tom Brady will get every snap for me. I'd say that.
Yeah,
I think that
Maria.
comparison ain't accurate because that's how the game is played. Like no team does that. So that's not productive
This
for
how the
your
game is
team to
played.
actually win. This is not, but this ain't a game. It's no wins or losses in what
That's
they
how
do. Who win? It's no wins and losses in talking about the game. They
and
talking.
the ratings.
Okay.
That's wins,
What, the
losses.
ratings gonna go down because there's 2 women on the show now?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that Rachel could have just accepted her role as the sideline reporter, and then why are you like complaining about it?
Because I've been working for 20 years doing this, and I don't want you to take my job away. I like what I was doing.
Oh my God.
I mean, I've been in a job where when I was working at UPS and I was running an area for a while and I got it down packed. I liked my people I had. I liked doing what I was doing. And they wanted to switch me to another side of the building that was in trouble and had bad employees not showing up, doing this, doing that. I didn't want to do that. And they gonna give a woman that they just hired my job that was running smooth. Give her the job that's not doing that. Let me stay where I'm doing, where I put in all this work and stuff. Why they gonna give her my area that I worked hard, getting everybody working and doing this and that? Now you're gonna put me in another bad situation to do this and do that. I didn't want to do that. That wasn't fair to me.
Hey man, you can handle it. You big dog.
You say what? But I'm Jay. Yeah, right. I'm like a person like everybody else. Shoot. So I didn't want to do that job.
One more thing I will say about this topic is this is an unfortunate situation for Rachel, but it's not the most unfortunate thing because now they have another black woman working the sidelines now, and I think they're probably going to stick with this combination now. So Rachel probably won't ever get her job back.
Yeah,
which is the biggest.
That's true. That's messed up. You're right. And it's also unfortunate because Nichols' legacy, not that she got a legacy, but it make her look to be labeled as she did something wrong. Like ESPN flipped the script. It's like this. So it's okay. A player, they wrong, they greedy, and they bull. Trade you. Oh well, that's just business. So ESPN flipped the script and made it so it's not about them only giving the one job and it's on them. They don't. The girls fighting each other and Rachel is the one that's the problem. When they the ones that's the problem. They could have gave more opportunities or more jobs or whatever. Y'all know about Michelle Beadle? Y'all remember her? Y'all remember Michelle Beadle?
I remember her.
Okay.
Y'all remind me of her.
Yeah.
I heard the name though.
She was on Sports Nation, right?
This is her right here.
With Michelle
she was on Sports Nation. She was actually kind of funny.
She was she was the worst, man. Oh my.
You don't like no white woman talking sports, man.
You don't like
no, not her. No, because she told like she was taking shots at Paul Pierce like he was a bum. I was like, nah, I don't like this chick right here. She was taking unnecessary shots at players.
But you don't know Paul Pierce.
I didn't see that.
And don't make it a race thing, Jay. Because I could say you don't like black women. I could say you don't like black women talking sports. So don't make it a race thing.
I'm just joking with you. I don't prefer or care for necessarily women talking sports. Not that I don't believe they should or this or that. It's just that it's not that entertaining. Not because they a woman, though. Like I told you, most of the men ain't entertaining to me either. So, I mean, it's just not that interesting. But at the end of the day, I don't really watch the show for the people talking. I'm watching it for the sports. And, you know, like I say, only Bart together because Shaq ain't that entertaining by itself to me either. But when he with Barkley and they going at it, that's pretty good. And Stephen A is pretty good. and Max is all right sometimes. And then that's about it to me, man. It's no real I like Terry Bradshaw. He used to be good. I ain't watched him in a while though on Fox. But Terry Bradshaw used to be pretty funny and good. So I like a little comedy and make it interesting or something mixed in when I'm watching something. You know what I mean? I don't like something to be bland or vanilla. And so that's what it be, my interest with that. And a lot of these people is sometimes they get pretty boring.
Yeah, like,
it's just this
like
ain't that interesting.
You brought
Go
up
ahead.
Charles Barkley. I like Charles Barkley because one thing about Turner Sports is which is different from ESPN is when situations like this come up, they can say what they actually mean, and they don't have to hold anything in. Charles Barkley can actually think for himself, and he probably would disagree with what ESPN did and can say it on live air and not get punished for it. So that's the difference between. So I like Charles Barkley a lot too.
Yeah. And also, I don't agree with everything Barkley say either, but I respect what he say, and he does say it, and it's interesting sometimes, So I agree with you. He could say what he want to say on the air and not hold it back, and I appreciate hearing that. You know what I mean? Even though sometimes when he talk about race, I think a lot of times he's off. But he's been a privileged athlete his whole life. He could say he grew up poor, but like even in my high school, the athletes got preferential treatment over everybody else. You know what I mean? That's just the fact of the matter. Whether they getting to go to lunch earlier, or they getting to not go to class, or they getting to do this, or getting food, or getting free shoes, or something. They ain't living the regular walk of life. And so I think that's just one of the things that and then he was in college and all of this and that. So he's never really even had a real job. He's had basketball, and then he talked basketball. So when he talk about police and when he talk about race and certain things, I think his take is off sometimes. But that's what he knows. I don't think he's lying. I think he's just telling his truth, but he's not realizing his truth is very unique and is not the same as most people of color. Not even close. Michelle Beadle, Mike, we lost you. We got you back. Michelle Beadle basically had to leave ESPN. Yeah, I got you back. It said that she had to reach a buyout agreement. ESPN 19. She still had multiple years remaining on her contract. Now, from what I remember, she didn't like doing that show with Greeny early in the morning in New York. But anyway, after her exit, ESPN announced that Nichols and Maria Taylor would be co-hosting NBA Countdown. And obviously, they say it's evolved into a disaster, and the audio recording leaked and all of this or that, which I think that's a setup as well. Because how is that leaked a year later during this time of the finals? Like, this is the perfect time for it to be leaked, and it's going to hurt Maria Taylor and her contract maybe, and it's definitely going to hurt Rachel Nichols. And I think that that's something that probably ESPN had something to do to leak it, because it was very hard to see who could have saw that. But anyway, Michelle Beadle was getting paid $5 million a year before her buyout. And now Maria Taylor say that ain't enough. Like, Michelle Beadle been in the game for like 20 years and was getting $5 million. Maria Taylor is like just getting started.
But
can y'all hear me? Am I breaking up?
Yeah, you breaking up a little bit. Yeah.
Let me move it up. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, I disagree with one thing that you said, Jay. it's going to hurt Maria
Go
Taylor. I think
ahead.
it's actually
Go
going to
ahead.
help. I think it's going to help Maria Taylor
Okay.
because now
Why you think
a lot
that?
of people is on her. So a lot of people's on her side on this situation. So she's probably going to get the contract she wants now, and ESPN going to do it so they can look good on the end.
That's a good point. That's a good point. I actually agree with that. They probably will. It probably will help her now that I think about it, because they'll look bad if they don't give her the job now. You know what I mean? So, we'll see. For her to be talking about, she relatively new. Like, how long has she been doing this? Like, what, 5 years at most? Damn.
Yeah, I don't think it has been that long for Maria.
I don't think so either,
Wrap
man.
it up.
I know, right? So before it looked like be over, and it looks like that Phoenix gonna win. I told y'all they gonna win this game. Yeah. Yeah, so Bucky, she ended up, Beetle was cool. She ended up they didn't get too much into it on this, but it looked like she was unhappy. I remember at the time she didn't like working on the new format with Mike Greenberg after Mike and Mike broke up. And they was getting paid good money. And Greenberg ruined that. Golick was pissed. Greenberg wanted his own show and be the star of his own show. He didn't want to be known as Mike and Mike no more. You think they was dry?
Mike Greenberg, I don't know, man. He's just not entertaining. Like he always have
oh yeah, Greenberg by itself.
I think he knows what he's talking about sometimes, but
Mike Golich is more entertaining than Greenberg, definitely by a long shot.
Yeah,
Mike Greenberg from Mike.
Golick is the big dude. He's wet.
I think his show is called The Get Up.
Yep, it's called Get
Up. They canceled his show. They canceled Golick's show.
It's still going.
Greenberg's show is still going. Yeah. Yeah, because Golick, it was Golick, Wingo and Golick or something, wasn't it? Trey Wingo.
It was like
they canceled him. Yeah. So Golick is a much better entertaining than Greeny, but Greeny is a better straight man. They need each other, really. Neither one of them are as good on their own to me. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't think Green's entertaining.
Yeah, I say if you're gonna take them off, put them on a show by themselves so they can have a show. Greeny probably didn't want a radio show anymore. So if you don't want a radio show, you still keep them together with a regular show like Get Up that they're doing now. You know, that Greeny's doing now.
Mm-hmm. Right. Chris Paul just dropped 32 points and 9 assists, and they won.
Yeah, they couldn't keep him off their
ring.
Before we get out, they couldn't keep him off of that. Yeah, and he knows how to run pick and roll, and he knows the angles and stuff. And because he can shoot, they got to play him honest. So I was talking earlier about the point situation. Mike, what do you think? I said that Chris Paul is a Hall of Famer, and if he wins this, he could be, I said, third best point guard, but without Oscar Robertson, I forgot. So I would put him at fourth. Magic, Oscar Robertson, Isaiah, then Chris Paul. Some people were saying Steph Curry. Yeah, he is a point guard, but technically is Steph Curry a point guard? What do you think? Mike, you there?
I think Steph Curry is a 2-guard masquerading as a point guard. Like he could assist the ball, but he's more comfortable as a gunner. You know, like just
Right.
because Draymond, because on the Golden State Warriors, Draymond's the one that gets the most assists on the team.
He has led them in assists as a team more than a few times. So do you think, would you
And
put
I had
Chris
Chris Paul
Paul
top
in the
5.
top 5 point guards of all time?
I had Chris Paul top 5 all time. Like before, he had a chance to get his ring already, and if he gets it, he's like solidified. I think he'll be like top 3. Because Chris Paul
Okay.
is a pure point guard, and he makes
Shaq,
his
what you
team
think
better.
about it? You think Chris Paul top 5 point guard of all time? Hold on, what you say, Mike?
Now, because Chris Paul is a pure point guard, like in every sense of the word, all he does is just make whatever team he's on better.
I agree. Yeah. Shaq, what you think about Chris Paul? Where you think he is as far as his legacy among point guards? He a top 5 point guard, number 4, or what? Is he better than
Yeah,
Curry?
yeah. He's definitely a top 5 point guard before the finals. He gets a ring. I do agree. He probably gets top 4. I'm not sure about top 3. You know what? He does get top 3. Now I will
I think he's
say,
top 3.
if
I
you're
think he's
talking about
top 3.
new age point guards, yes, Steph is the best new age point guard. But like modern point
I don't think
guards
he's a
that
point guard though.
people grew up on, yeah, Chris Paul is definitely the best point guard. So that's how I look at
Right.
it.
Right.
Like,
Because
do you
if you
consider
looking at
Isaiah? Do
modern
you
point
consider
guards, you would go ahead, Mike. What was you saying?
do you guys consider Allen Iverson a point guard?
No. He played point, but he was really a 2 guard
So
in a
that's what.
point guard's body.
Yeah, he played point.
If they classify him as a
That's how I
point
feel about
guard
Steph.
historically, then he a point guard, and he never really made his teammates better on any team he played on. He just carried them. Like if he would have made Philly better, they may have had given the Lakers a better run for their money in the finals. But
They
he
would never beat
never.
the Lakers.
That's why I say a better run for the money. I ain't say he would have beat them, but
Okay.
they won 1 game. But maybe he would have made it to the finals more. But
Yeah, but that's how I feel
know,
about Steph though. I feel like Steph is just like a smaller shooting guard that just guns it. He'll just let it off.
yeah. So what you think, Shaq? You think Iverson is a point guard, and do you think what do you think? You said you would put CP3 as 3rd. So who you taking off? Oscar Robertson, Magic, or Isaiah?
Man, I kind of
I'm
didn't
taking
grow
off
up.
Robertson.
I didn't watch a lot of old school basketball, so I can't really say. But I watched a lot of Magic though, so Magic stays.
Right.
Maybe Oscar Robertson, because I never really actually seen Oscar Robertson play, But I know I can't go off
Okay.
that, so I don't know. I don't know.
I'm putting
I don't
Chris
know.
too. I don't know. I'm putting Chris too. Magic, Chris, Isaiah. That's me.
Woo! Okay, I never saw Oscar Robertson play either. I've seen his highlights and I've looked up his stats. I mean, Oscar Robertson was way ahead of his time. We know he the first to have a triple-double. You know that, right? Both of y'all know he the first to average a triple-double.
Yeah, I knew that.
Yeah, I don't care
Okay.
about that.
Yeah, so he was way ahead of his time. I mean, the statistics, the only way we can really compare what these guys did through time in a way. He helped
Yeah.
Kareem
Yeah, I
in
know, but
Kareem's
if
second,
Russ,
in Kareem's 3rd season. Go ahead.
I know, like that's like for back then that's great, but Russ done that like what 5 times, and the media just like dumps on this guy all the time. So that's why like hey, they don't care about that today. Then I'm like, all right, I'm at the Doc Oscar on that too.
I could barely hear you. But I mean, they gave Westbrook the MVP because he averaged a triple-double, the first person since Oscar Robertson. I mean,
He didn't make an
Oscar
all. He
Robertson
didn't
was
make
an
an all
amazing
NBA
player.
team this year.
Who? Westbrook? Yeah,
he
well, I'm not
averaged a
talking about
triple-double this year.
Westbrook.
He didn't make it in the all NBA team.
That's because people get tired of seeing you do stuff consistently. So he's done it for 4 years now. 3 years in a row, 4 out of 5 years. So people are used to it now. They see that he just a stat book stuffer, and they discrediting what he's doing at his height. But here's Oscar Robertson right here. 12-time All-Star. He led the league in assists 6 years. 11 years he was the All-NBA. He was the MVP of the NBA 63-64, one-time MVP, 3-time All-Star MVP, Rookie of the Year, and he won the championship in Kareem's 3rd year in the league. The fastest that any, and the Milwaukee Bucks was an expansion team. So that was what? Their 3rd year in the
Who his
NBA.
competition was.
Huh?
I gotta see who his competition was too. Like
Magic Johnson, Isaiah Thomas. I mean, oh, you talking about as far as point guards? I mean, he played in a hell of an era. He played with Bob
who he played
Cousy.
against.
Bob Cousy. You know, he played against Jerry West. There's a lot of legendary players in the 60s and 70s. But this is his stats.
Jerry West 30. To check Oscar.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Oscar was, he wasn't that big, but he put up points, but he also passed the ball. So he was putting up 30 and 9, 30 and 11, and he was averaging 10 rebounds, 12 rebounds, 10 rebounds, 28, 9, 31 and 11, 30 and 11, 31 and 11, 30 and 10, 29 and 9, 24 and 9, 25 and 8, 19 and 8. That was when he was 32 years old with Kareem, putting up 19 points, 8 rebounds, 5 boards, 17, 7 and 5, 15, 7 and 5. And then when he was 35 years old, which was ancient back then, 12 points, 6 assists, and 4 boards.
Damn, that guy played in the 1960s. Who was playing in the 1960s? That was competition. That could stop this guy. That was he was like LeBron James in the 60s, just out here just dunking on dudes.
Wilt Chamberlain was playing then. Elgin Baylor. It was a lot of legendary players, man.
Yeah, those are big players.
You got recency bias. Let me. Hell yeah.
No, I'm asking you, like, who is he playing against?
That's why I'm trying to pull it up here. Let me see. Regular season.
You told me Bob Cousy. Like, come on, man. Did Bob Cousy stopping Oscar Robertson?
Well, yeah, I doubt that was about to happen. But I'm trying to pull up and then pull it up. But okay, okay, wait, where was it? Seasons. All right, so we can go to the 60s. Let's see. Oscar Robertson, the year he was MVP. Let's see. Jerry West. All right. For one, it wasn't that big of a league. It was what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 teams. It was 9 teams in the league back then.
Oh, come on, man. So yeah, so Oscar Robertson's 4th, then Chris Paul 2nd. That ends it right there.
You say Oscar Robertson 2nd?
No, Oscar Robertson's 4th. Right? But that ends it. I was hesitant to put him 4th, but now he's 4th.
Those
point guards, he's 4th.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. Isaiah Thomas, you mean? Okay. Here go the All-Star teams. I don't even know. So Hal Greer, Sam Jones, Chet Walker was decent. Lenny Wilkins was decent. He was good. Jerry West.
Bro, none of these dudes
Okay,
are
so
stopping
it
Oscar
wasn't that
Robertson.
many great point guards back then. The
Oscar
game was
Robertson
played from the
thugging.
inside
Oscar
out too
Robertson
back
thugging on
then.
all these dudes.
Yeah, so the game was played the bigger the better, inside out. Not a game played outside in. So, but if we go off of their statistics, even though it doesn't add up with a 9-team league versus what is it, 30 teams right now. So the talent is much more today than then. But I would say that if you want to take out an older player and just go from the modern era, from late 70s or 80s to now, really is the modern era for the most part. Then it would go Magic Johnson, Isaiah Thomas, probably Chris Paul, and then maybe if you want to put Steph as a point guard, maybe Steph Curry. What do you think?
Whenever I have,
go ahead, Shaq. Hold on, Mike. Go ahead, Shaq.
Whenever I'm having like these debates, like with my brother or friends, I always say like I don't like comparing like generations, and this is the reason, because you can find yourself discrediting Oscar Robertson when having
right.
This.
That's true. And that's not fair to him because you can only play in the era you played in.
Yeah.
Right. I get it. This new era, I would say, is probably in the last 8 to 10 years has really changed. So I would say that's the Steph Curry era. So you could put like the Currys, the Dame Lillards, Derrick Rose in his prime, the era where the point guard is your primary scorer, or the era where damn primary scorer was your point guard. And that's rare, and it's weird. It's playing the game outside in, which I don't know. That's probably why it's harder for those teams to win. Like that, all the teams that won, they still had a dominant wing player. Hell, even when Curry won the finals, who won the finals MVP?
Andre, right?
Yeah. To that point guard right now. When Magic won, he was playing center, and they gave it to him. Well, he played center for one game when Kareem got injured. I think that was his rookie year. And I think Magic won like 2 more finals MVPs. I think he won 3. But it's just that, I don't know, man. It's just difficult. So to compare, you got a good point. Mike, what you think about that now? If we take out Oscar Robertson and just do the modern era, what would you say about C?
What you mean?
Or Iverson? Would you put Iverson in even though he's ahead of his time, he a modern scoring first point guard too?
So you're saying from like what, like the 2000s up? Like, how do I rank them?
From 1980 to now, who would you say is the best 4 to 5 point guards?
Okay, so Oscar excluded. I'll put Magic, Chris Paul, Isaiah Thomas. I'll put Steph 4th, since people won't say he's a point guard, and I'll put Stockton 5. I should put LeBron 5. That feels good. LeBron's 5.
You say what?
Of modern day point guard.
Like they talk about point guard. I consider LeBron a point guard. He runs his team, so I'll put him 5.
He kind of does play like a point guard, but he's classified as a forward, small forward, power forward
Yeah,
in
if
his
you
older
want to
years.
say like, yeah, if you want to like say what they're labeled as, and like fine, I'll put Stockton 5. But I consider LeBron point guard. So if we're not doing that whole, what they're labeled as, I'll say he's 5, but I'll put Stockton. For the sake
Yeah,
of argument, I'll put Stockton 5.
Okay. What you was gonna say, Shaq?
yeah. LeBron is a small forward though. He just all around. He can initiate the play. So
Here go one that I forgot. What
He's like
about
top
Jay
5 in
Kidd?
the assists, all time assists.
Yeah,
Oh
what
yeah,
about
Jason Kidd. I
Jason
forgot that.
Kidd or Steve Nash? Where would y'all put them?
Yeah, I'll put them like around they're top 10, but I won't put them for top 5.
yeah, it's like when you start like trying to do the best positions, and you'll be head scratchers all over the place. You forget names, just like Steve Nash and Jason Kidd.
Mm-hmm. This right here is the all-time assists per game leaders. So Magic averaged 11.1 assists per game for his career. Stockton was second with 10.5. Oscar Robertson 9.5. Chris Paul come in fourth, 9.4. Almost right there with Oscar. So that's why I said he'd be fourth if we counted Oscar. I didn't even get this, but I wouldn't have had Stockton over Isaiah. Isaiah is right here at fifth, though, 9.2. Now, I'm surprised Kevin Johnson was this high, although I did love me some KJ, but he was very athletic. And John Wall averaged 9 assists for his career. That's pretty impressive. I didn't know he was doing that over Jason Kidd. Westbrook, Nash, Norm Nixon, and Tim Hardaway is 12th with 8.1 assists. So, man. It's interesting, man. I think Chris Paul, this will definitely solidify his legacy. And I want him to win, but I want Giannis to win too. But if I got to pick, I'd rather it be Chris Paul because he ain't going to probably get another chance, whereas Giannis is just starting his career and got plenty of time. So I give it to him. Here go Bob Cousy, man. Now, LeBron is the first forward on this list, though. He 23rd all time, but he averaged 7.40 assists. That's very impressive, damn near.
That's amazing.
I know, right?
For a forward?
That is pretty good. That's very good. He's the only
I think he's like top
man
5
on here. All the rest
assists,
are point
I
guards.
think. Yeah, Jay, check the all-time assists.
Time
I think he's
as
top
far
5.
as that's more of a compilation thing, though. But I look it up. So
is that he's top 5 or he's top 10?
Huh?
Is that he's top 5 or he's top 10?
Who, LeBron? I think he's top 10, maybe.
Yeah.
Let me see.
Of all time.
Let's see. It's showing per game though instead of year by year progressive. Let me see. Yeah, this is not doing it right. Let me see. Why is it doing it? All-time assists per game. Let me see. Career. See, it keeps game. Let me see. We go to leaders. Regular season, that's per game. Assists per game in the playoffs. Career active year. It's supposed to show career period. Let's see, season. It's showing seasons. Huh. Let me see for the year.
Yeah, it's kind of confusing.
Yeah. When I go to career, it shows who's in the all-time. Oh, let me go to all-time then. Full site. Let's see. Leaders. Active assists. That's all-time assists among active players, though. Let's see.
Brandon Bates in the comments said LeBron is 8th all time in assists.
Okay. Yeah, because it's not showing. Okay, here it is. Yep, he right. LeBron 8th. So yeah, I say top 10. He's played so many seasons, so many games. Stockton though, damn, 15,000 assists. LeBron ain't gonna catch that. He'd have to play about another.
Nah, he ain't catching that.
6 years. Chris Paul is 5th all time though. Next year, Chris Paul gonna pass Mark Jackson because he only 60 assists away from Mark Jackson and Steve Nash. Steve Nash only got one more than Mark Jackson. So next year, Chris Paul will be 3rd all time. He'd have to play a little longer to catch J Kidd though, because J Kidd is 2,000 ahead of him. So that means he'd have to play like maybe 2 more years, 2 to 3 more years to pass J Kidd. Stockton, man, when you look at this, ain't nobody gonna catch this.
Yeah, that's super impressive right there. 15.
That is. He averaged like 12 assists, 15 assists a game for like damn near 10 years in a row. But he had Karl Malone as your finisher, so yeah, 13.8, 13.6, 14.5, 14.2, 13.7, 12, 12.6, 12.3, 11. He had more assists than food stamps, man. More assists than WIC, than Medicaid in this piece. Straight up, man. This dude, boy. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years in a row of leading the league in assists. And then he had 10 after that. So 10 years in a row of double digits. That's impressive. And after that, his lowest he ever did was, other than his rookie year, 7 assists a game, 7.4.
Yeah, I don't see any.
And he put up 10 points.
Go ahead. Any new era point guards ever getting that much assists in the game?
Hell no. Hell no. You got a great point right there. New era. They don't even average 7 assists. That would be a career high. That was his low. Yeah. And he played till he was 40. And he played every game, 82 games. Damn. He played every game of his career except for 1 year he played 78 games. And the other year he played 64. Other than that, he played every single game for 20 years. What? I didn't realize he played every game.
Yeah, he was in great shape, man.
Excellent shape. This is another person that their game wasn't built off of supreme athleticism, though. He wasn't jumping over people, dunking and shit like Derrick Rose. You know what I mean? He was. I don't think he ever dunked. I never seen Stockton dunk in person watching the game, and I never seen a highlight of him dunking. Y'all seen the highlight of him dunking?
Nah.
No, I didn't see it.
No, he didn't dunk.
He's tall enough.
It was nothing flashy.
No, I'm
he like
he
6'1".
At least like one time.
Yeah, 6'1".
Yeah, they probably got 2 hand dunk, not flashy.
Maybe.
get the job done.
Yeah. And that wasn't his game, though. He was like, fundamentally sound. Look at these playoff series. He went to the playoffs every year until he was 34. Oh,
It's
wait a
crazy.
minute. He went even past then. He went 35, 36, 37, 39, 40. Damn. He took his team to the playoffs every year. What's up, man?
Yeah, nice one. Now I'm about to catch this Loki episode.
Yeah, it is about to come on. It's midnight. I'm about to go ahead and watch it too. I was waiting for about another 5 minutes. I'm gonna wrap it up. Call it 3 hours. What's up, young Slim? All right, Mike. I appreciate you coming through, man. And Shaq, I'm glad you came on as well, too, man.
All right, no problem.
Yeah, good night, guys. Peace out, Shaq.
Yeah, definitely.
Peace out, Jay.
That was a great debate. A little biased, but it was a great debate.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And everybody else, y'all more than welcome to come on up and talk next week or any other show that I do. I try to give it open for everyone to come up and talk. A lot of other people may not do that, but I like to, give people a chance to say what they want to say, because a lot of times it's not easy to get your point across typing, so I give it to him. Andre Miller was a good player. He was very underrated. That is true. A lot of people don't know nothing about him. John wasn't dunking with them short shorts. He been unsplit them shorts, boy. Straight up. Yeah. Hey, Sheena, I appreciate you for sticking through, man. What's up? Hey, Dre Wright. It's all good. Better late than never. Y'all can check out the replay. Hopefully, the video will play. Bucky got a good point. Is Kidd a top 3 point guard? I would put Jason Kidd if we take out man, he is almost just as good as Chris Paul. Almost, they are very similar. I would put Kidd at 5 and Chris Paul a little better than Kidd. Go on that one, Shaq.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's like I said, like it's hard, like to just when it comes down to breaking down where you put this point guard versus this point guard. They're all great. So, like I said, you'll find yourself like, man, I don't know where to put them. You got to come with ties. Like these two are tied at 5 or tied at 6. Because it seems almost disrespectful to say this one is 7, this one is 8, this one is 3, this one is 4, because you don't really want to say this one is better than this one, because especially when they played in 2 different generations. So Jason Kidd is definitely up there.
Yeah, definitely. And he played a long time. And I think a lot of these players ain't going to play because they make so much money now. I think it's going to be almost damn near. I don't think we'll see players like Steph Curry play till they're 40, like Stockton. He making $200-300 million contracts every 5 years. Why are you playing that long? I just don't see it. Although I'm surprised LeBron is still playing as long as he is, man. I think the only thing that's pushing him is he want to play with his son.
Yeah, I think he's going to do that too.
I think he is too, and that's going to be amazing to play with his son, to be the first father-son teammates. But I think if it wasn't that his son wasn't good and having a chance to make it, I think LeBron would probably retire. But I'm getting ready to get up out of here. I told a lot of people about the show Work in Progress. That's the one show that I'm about to be on Showtime. I don't know how much how good of a job I did, so I'm interested to see what y'all say, if I suck or what. But it come on next month. It's a crazy show. I was just rewatching season 1 with somebody today. I forgot how much is going on in season 1. It's a lot going on that show. It is, but it's interesting. It's funny. I learned a little bit about the LGBTQ community. My character on the show, I'm gonna be working in the office. I'm like best friends with the star of the show in the office, and I'll show y'all a little clip right quick. Of my part, you can see the back of my white ass head, and y'all can check out the clip on YouTube, and they even got a couple episodes on YouTube for free that you can check out as well if y'all want to see. Here's the show, work in progress. Let's see. I'm gonna stop it when my head show.
But life just got in the way of me killing myself.
Give me an example.
I got a promotion. Ooh.
All right. That's me. Now, I'm not an extra in the show. I'm actually in 5 episodes, and I do got some speaking line, a lot of lines, and a lot of stuff that they got me doing in the show. But that's all they show of me in the trailer. But after this woman was talking, then I talk and turn around and talk with Abby and stuff and different stuff. So, I'm interested to see how it turns out. And everybody check it out. Let me know what you think. And I might suck, but hey, I tried. We'll see.
That's dope.
What'd you say?
I said that's dope to have to be in a TV show. Period. That's pretty good.
Yeah, man, it was a really cool and fun experience, and everybody treated me great, and my son great. My son was there with me the whole time, and I had a great time. I think I did all right. I think I did pretty good, but I think everybody that does a show or a movie or something think they did good, and then people let them know what they really think. So we'll see. I look forward to hearing and seeing what everybody think. And I would say these cameras look better than actual real life. So looking at that scene and looking at the show, how I portray it, I'll be looking like, damn, this looks pretty cool. But when I was filming, it didn't look that special in real life. But when you look at it through the camera, it looks like a real show, to me now, and like a real movie. I'm like, damn, that's when you actually filming the stuff behind the scenes, you be like, man, I wonder how this is gonna turn out. So that's interesting to me to see how it is. I guess now I see why some people when they making the movies and stuff, they be interested to kind of see how it turn out, because when you making it, it doesn't look that great when you making it. But then after they put all the polish on it and special effects or use the cameras, then you looking at it looks better than when you made it. So that's pretty cool. So hey man, Swipe Lee, I appreciate it, man. Thanks a lot. You say that's major, man. I appreciate it, man. I give everybody thanks because, working on here and working with everybody, y'all help give me, confidence to go to the next level and try more things. So I appreciate everybody, support, and everybody that subscribe, hit the thumbs up, all the comments, because, hey, as much as I may help people with, a laugh or two, y'all inspire me to do more. And so, I appreciate that as well. So, without saying too much more. I'm gonna leave it at that. Shaq, again, thanks for coming through, and you're more than welcome. Come through anytime. You can chop it up on the sports, or on Fridays and Sundays. And I think I'm gonna go ahead and watch this Loki right now, my damn self. And everybody, have a good one. I told y'all the Suns was gonna win. And we'll see how it go. I think Milwaukee is gonna win. They 2 at home, and it's gonna be a tied series for the 4 games. And then Phoenix is gonna finish them off when they go back to Phoenix. So anyway, I'm out of here, man. Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe. Again, thanks Shaq Duncan, 2 big legendary big men combined into one. Old school.
Yeah.
And
Appreciate it.
no problem, man. You more than welcome anytime, man. Good takes. And everybody be safe out there. And I'll see y'all on the next video. Deuces.
Peace.
Yeah.